Good Wednesday afternoon, guys. This is the Brian Gould Show Sports Edition on 444 Radio. Got special guest Joe Cool in the studio today.
On a Wednesday.
Wow. And, of course,
you ain't got no job.
Hey, hush, hush. This is my job.
This is his job.
This is my hobby.
So, hi, guys. How are you guys doing today?
How we doing, boys and girls?
We are doing excellent. Got a great race in baseball right now. You Mets fans need to kind of sweat a little bit here.
They'll make it.
They'll make it, but man,
Did we win last night?
You lost again.
We lost last night
to Atlanta.
God, I'm telling you, man, Atlanta, the bane of my existence.
What is going on there?
It's just the way we play each other. It doesn't matter.
All right, well then, fine. That's 2 in a row. I think you've lost.
We
those
have.
Guys.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
Atlanta likes to play the role of a spoiler.
Yeah, they do.
Well, they got no choice because they're 29 games out or some craziness like that.
Something stupid. Eliminated.
Are they even really a professional baseball team this year?
Right.
So if you're eliminated, you have nothing to lose, so you just go out there and just play.
That's right.
Keep beating the good teams out there.
How's those Rays doing?
The Rays, if you're a Rays fan,
they won again.
Go Rays! Yeah,
they're only 30 back.
Yeah, they beat the Yankees 5-3 last night. Boston finds a way to defeat Baltimore to hold on to the East lead there. Cleveland defeats Kansas City. They're still leading in the Central. Texas wins over the Angels. They're still leading in the West. Toronto and Baltimore pretty much at a deadlock for that wild card spot. Toronto beat Seattle last night, and Baltimore, of course, they lost to Boston, which helps my Tigers because the Tigers defeated Minnesota 8-1, and they're sitting a game and a half out. There's 2 weeks left to the season, guys.
Still 2 weeks.
Just 2 weeks to go, and the playoff hunt is tightening up.
How far back is Baltimore? They're tied with Boston?
They're tied with Toronto in the wild card, but Toronto's played one extra game than them. So, I mean, they have...
so they're technically ahead of them.
They're technically ahead of them, but those two teams would get into the wild card spot right now for that playoff. And then Detroit and Houston on the outside looking in. Seattle loses 2 in a row, so they slide again. And
Suckers!
And then the Yankees, of course, they won not too long ago, but they lost to Tampa last night. If
didn't they lose to Tampa?
No. Sorry, they beat Tampa last night, 5-3.
I thought Tampa won last night.
No, they lost to Tampa. Sorry.
Huh.
Or Tampa lost last night.
So. Go Tampa.
Jeez, all over the board. 5-3. The Yankees beat Tampa. Looking at my notes here, and they're all jumbled up.
Jambalaya.
Jumped ahead on me here. If you're a New York fan of any sort, whether it be the Yankees or Mets, you're sitting kind of pretty right now. More so if you're a Mets fan. Of course, the Mets lost last night, but they're still in the wild card hunt. They're in a 3-way tie with San Francisco and St. Louis. Both St. Louis and San Francisco won last night, so that didn't help your cause if you're a Mets fan.
3-way tie for a wild card? Or?
Yeah, only 2 get in.
Who's going to be the last? Who's not going to make it?
I'm not going to focus on who's not going to make it because I'm just going to say we're going to win. We're going to be number 1 when we get in there. So it
need to be right
Leave
now,
no doubt.
The Mets have the most cushiest schedule remaining of the 3. I don't think San Francisco is going to get in there. It'll be probably St. Louis. And for some unheard weird reason, Miami's crept in there. They're only 4 games back. I mean, they basically have to win out if they want to stand a chance to even get into the playoffs.
And your other teams have to lose.
Yeah.
They can win all they want, but if the other teams don't help you out,
exactly.
they're not going to get in.
They beat Washington last night. Washington is still leading in the East.
Check this out, though. 2 games in a week is not... That's definitely doable.
It's more than doable. I mean, we watched the Mets do that a couple weeks ago.
That's right. So you're talking 4 in 2 weeks. That's definitely doable.
Yeah.
The amazing Mets.
The amazing Mets.
The Metropolitans.
Mets.
That's right.
Amazing. Washington still leads in the East with Chicago, of course, killing everybody in the Central and in all of baseball. Dodgers still holding down the West. Cubs are 4 games away from getting to 100 wins. 2 weeks to go. You see them pull off the gas pedal and start resting people. Are they going to hit that 100-win mark?
Doesn't matter. You're in the playoffs. Why
push it?
Why push it?
I don't think you go above and beyond, but you play everybody to keep them loose, to keep them playing, because there's nothing worse than pulling people early and then they get out of their routine.
Yeah,
routine is king when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now, as a fan, You go to one of those games and you see one of these stars being rested. Are you angry about that?
I'm not angry right now, that's for sure.
Whatever it takes to get into the postseason.
Yeah, whatever high you have to ride to get there, then, ride it out. So, inside joke, guys, kind of quiet, dead spot there, but that's okay. But baseball definitely heating up for you baseball fans. It's the greatest time of the year going into October with these last 2 weeks.
Love it.
Pretty dang awesome.
So now, who would you consider? Because Reggie Jackson had, to me, the best nickname of all time,
Mr. October.
Who's the new Mr. October? There has to be.
Well, Derek Jeter's gone, so I would say it would definitely be Derek Jeter.
There has to be somebody that just every year come playoff time just.
If the Angels were in it,
rocks.
I'd say Trout, Mike Trout.
Hang
maybe.
on one sec, though. Mr. October was for Reggie Jackson in the World Series, right?
No,
hitting the 3 home runs.
Yeah, because of what he did.
Right,
and
because
he
back
had
in the
pretty
day,
good
it
October
used to be in
stats.
October. The World Series used to be in October.
So that nickname
Still
sucks.
is, but-
That nickname shouldn't fit him.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be over in October. That's not the way it is anymore.
Right. I think they should shave off 20, 30 games off the regular season.
I think it's too long.
I think it is, too. Too many games. Way too many
Too many
games.
injuries because
What's
of
that,
people
add
throwing
more?
Too many
Yeah,
Guys, we
add
pay them
more.
$100 million. They should play every day, twice
all
a day.
year long.
Yeah. Well,
All year.
All right? But they definitely play a lot more than anybody else, any other sport.
yeah.
They can play here in December and January.
Sure.
I don't care. They could play my New England in January. I don't care. They're making $100 million.
Way too much.
Shut up and play.
That's right.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. I know it's short and early, but I just wanted to touch on some quick playoff baseball picture here. So when we come back from the break, we're going to talk some NCAA football news. Lots going on, just headliners there. Of course, we'll touch on hockey from last night's games and everything else. This is the Brian Gould Show, Sports Edition on 444 Radio. We will be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sean Stringer. Me and Dr. Philip Nikeo are the newest members of the 444 radio lineup. We'll cover weight loss, health issues, mental health issues, and we'll talk with top health, wellness, and personal development gurus in the industry. You can even call in with your questions and much, much more. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Wednesday nights from 7 to 9 on 444 Radio.
Out to J-Dub's Brewery on Saturday, September 24, 2016 from 6 to 10 p.m. for Our Rhymes and Beer, a music and art series that features artists, musicians, and local businesses joining together for a charitable cause. A silent art auction and raffle benefits Any Given Child Sarasota, an organization that is changing young lives through the arts in Sarasota School. Our Rhymes and Beer is sponsored by Art and Frame of Sarasota, Kimmel Lumber, and Bobcat Disposal. For more information, go to facebook.com/artrhymesandbeer or email artrhymesandbeer@gmail.com.
Evan, we've lived here 6 months and this bathroom still looks terrible. You're supposed to help me remodel it by now.
I know. You just know how busy I am, though.
Busy? We've got to get this done. If I can't do it because I don't have time and you don't have time, what are we going to do?
I know who to call.
Hello, my name is Stephen Dennis. I own a business here in town called Needaman2 LLC. My email address is needaman2@gmail.com. My number is 941-232-2776. Again, that's 941-232-2776.
Oh my gosh, this looks amazing.
What a great idea.
How you doing? This is Chuck from the BS Show. I would like to tell you about a great company, Sarasota Sign Machine, LLC, the exclusive sign and print sponsor for 444 Radio. A sign of quality you can trust, located at 601 North Washington Boulevard, celebrating 6 years in business and over 20 years of experience in Sarasota. If you need signs, banners, vehicle magnets, custom design, neon repair, business cards, printing, and more, trust the Sarasota Sign Machine. Look, let's be honest, you have so much more to think about when running your own business. Call us at 941-302-4275. Check us out on Facebook or at sarasotasignmachine.com. A sign of quality you can trust. Tell them the BS Show sent you.
So, Evan, you want to make the other announcement? I know you're excited and happy.
We do have a fantastic new sponsor, absolutely. We are now very lucky to have Rico's Pizza as a sponsor for us. 6547 Gateway Avenue in Gulf Cake. They're open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. They've been there 17 years. Jump
anywhere.
online, ricospizzatogo.com. Give them a phone call at 941-922-9604. We did find out today that you mentioned the 444 Radio or the BS show from 444 Radio. You will get 20% off your tab. Give them a phone call, guys, 941-922-9604 or ricospizzatogo.com.
Hello, this is Captain Sherman of Paradise Boat Tours, and if you're looking for a great adventure on our beautiful local waters, then we are the boat tour for you. Check out our website at seadolphins.com. We leave 7 days a week from Bradenton Beach Pier on beautiful Anna Maria Island. It's fun for the whole family, and yes, we see wild dolphin 95% of our tours. Paradise Boat Tours. Call us at 941-465-8624. Like us on Facebook or go to seadolphins.com. Here, Flipper.
Hey, this is Paulie from the BS Show. When I'm out and about, having too many, it happens to us all, there's only one cab service I call. It's my ride. 941-400-6606. No more 3-time surcharges. No more drivers that don't speak English, don't know where you're going. They pick you up. They take you home safely, clean cars. They're professionals. They know exactly what they're doing. And when you're riding with My Ride, don't forget to mention the BS Show, 20% off your ride. Chucky, on occasion, will have too much.
Not me, Paul.
These guys are the best. They're what you want to call. They will take care of you. 941-400-6606. My Ride. It's not your ride. It's not his ride.
My ride.
It's my ride.
Hey guys, how we doing? This is Evan from the Bee and the Soup Bed Show. I'm here with Rita from J-Dub's Brewing Company, and we're in studio. How are we doing today, Rita?
Good, how are you?
Excellent. Hey, I know you have a fantastic brewery over there. Please tell me a little bit about it.
The brewery itself has a tasting room. It has 10 tap lines, so you can find anything that you want, from a light to a dark flavor.
So whatever you like, you can get it?
Absolutely, we got a flavor for you.
Perfect. Also, tell me a little bit about the beer garden I've been hearing so much about.
We got a big backyard out back. We're kid-friendly, we're dog-friendly, so you can come bring your family and friends and just have a good time, play some games, and drink some beer.
Excellent. And then you guys have food?
Absolutely. We got food trucks every day around 5 o'clock. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, noon to midnight.
Excellent. Hey, I hear a rumor that you guys do something cool over there on Wednesdays.
We do. We have free yoga on Wednesday evening starting at 6:30. Come hang out and drink a beer and stretch it out.
That sounds like a great way to spend a Wednesday, I'll tell you. It's 1215 Mango Avenue, Sarasota, Florida. 941-955-2739. And what about social media?
Go to jdubsbrewing.com and you'll find everything right there.
You guys are by far the best brewery in town, and we're proud to have you guys as our sponsor. Come on out there, have a drink with us, and we'll sit around and have a good time.
Cheers, guys.
This is Chuck from the BS Show. I wanted to take some time to talk about a great charity organization, the Honor Flight. This organization flies our veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit those memorials dedicated to honor the service and sacrifices of themselves and their friends. Please come out and drink some beers at Hurricane Mike's on the last Saturday of every month from 1 to 6. Hurricane Mike's has a guest bartender at each event, 50-50 raffles, liquor baskets, and silent auctions. The bartenders even donate all the tips they make that day. Hurricane Mike's is located at 2639 Mall Drive in Gulfgate. Last month, Hurricane Mike's raised over $1,100 for the Honor Flight. From everyone here at 444 Radio and Hurricane Mike's, we want to thank you for your support of our vets.
Gulfgate, Sarasota, it's time to eat, and there's only one place to go. Ham Heaven and Devil Dogs, 2647 Mall Drive in Gulfgate. Try the one-of-a-kind filet mignon sliders or the award-winning Reuben sandwich, voted best in the state of Florida. Ham Heaven and Devil Dogs is open Monday through Saturday till 3 a.m. So after the bars close, you can get some of the best food in Sarasota. Call in and place your order today at 941-923-2514. That's 941-923-2514. Check them out online at hamheavenanddevildogs.webs.com or on facebook.com/HH&DD.
Good Wednesday afternoon. This is the Brian Gould Show Sports Edition on 444 Radio. That was Joe Cool bum-bumming in the background.
Being a bum. Like my singing?
Yeah.
No.
What's wrong with saying bum on a plane?
He said I had a voice of an angel. Chris Angel.
Yeah. Ugh. Lamar Jackson, guys, has 18 touchdowns this season.
Who?
Lamar Jackson.
Who's he play for? College football.
Yes. Good job.
I started watching college football, didn't I?
Starting things out with college football in this part. Evan, 18 touchdowns.
What's that?
Lamar Jackson has 18 touchdowns this season.
Already?
Yes. Did you know he has more touchdowns than 114 college football teams right now? Yes, exactly. 114
That's
teams
pretty impressive.
Have less touchdowns than that guy.
So he might be your front runner for Heisman?
If he's not right now, then there's something wrong. But he's killing it. Killing it. And that guy there, I mean, last year, wasn't he... he was kind of talked about a little bit, but definitely is being talked about now. If you have more touchdowns than 114 college football teams and am not being mentioned in the Heisman race, something's definitely wrong.
Now, he's a wide receiver?
No.
Running back?
No.
What position?
He plays left out.
Left out?
Yeah.
Sure.
Did you know he plays for the Detroit Lions?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't, because we're talking college football.
Yeah, exactly. Well, who do you think the Lions play for? Or what,
They're not the Browns. Calm down.
College might...
They're not the Browns.
Detroit might be on the level of a college team.
Yikes. That's awesome. So, the ACC hired a contractor in the event if there's a three-way tie in the Atlantic Division in the ACC between Louisville, Clemson, and Florida State, because they could all possibly have one loss each against each other. And I think that's a little absurd to go out to an outside resource to hire someone in to analyze your division and your conference.
Especially when you're, 3 games into it?
3 games in, they've already have somebody on call in case stuff happens.
That's unheard of. That's like saying... Okay, and MLB, before the season even starts, let's hire a contractor in case there's a 3-way tie for the wild card position.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if
there's a lot of football to be played.
There's too much football to be played.
And then you have injuries and things like that, and too many things can happen. It's a game of luck.
Well, it's
a game of luck?
Okay.
Sometimes it is a game of luck.
Now that you're jumping back in here, the ACC hired an outside contractor to analyze the Atlantic Division in the event if Louisville, Clemson, and FSU all in a tie. Because they could all have one loss against each other, and that puts them in a 3-way tie for the Atlantic Division.
Right.
So they have to hire someone outside to come in and say, okay, here's your clear-cut winner for the Atlantic Division to play in the ACC championship game.
Don't you just do it by points?
Bingo. What, you do it by points? Or how about the two, or the one that's the highest ranked on the AP poll, coaches poll, pick a poll?
Yeah.
Why hire somebody outside to come in and...
I wouldn't even say I think points is the way to go, because you can be biased on getting on that list. If you just say, look, they're all tied, you all have the same amount of wins...
Then it becomes a popularity contest.
And it won't be if you say, look, you scored 10,000 points, and this guy only scored 9,000 points.
Now, just to role play that out, say Clemson finishes, they stay 5th for some weird reason. They don't ever move. They stay 5th, and they score 60 more points than Louisville does, and Louisville finishes 2 in the nation. Mm-hmm. What you're saying is Clemson, because they scored more points, gets in over Louisville.
Yep.
Ouch.
Maybe what they do is they break it down by quarters and who's won the most quarters. Because that would kind of be fair, right?
I would say, hey, Louisville finished 2. They're in.
Yeah.
I mean, I just like the ranking. I'd rather go with the ranking than having to dissect it by record at that point. Like, hey, if 3 of them are stuck at 10-1 or 6-1, whatever their divisional record's going to be, or conference record, then whoever's ranked highest should get in.
The ACC still doesn't have a playoff game?
They do. It's the Big 12 that doesn't. But these 3 are all in the same division in the ACC. Yeah. So theoretically, they could all get one loss against each other and be tied for first place.
Well, yeah, but then you go to who beat who. And that's how we always do it in the SEC.
That's how you do it everywhere else.
Yeah, why would there be a problem with that?
If you're listening in, would love to get some feedback. 941-330-4087.
Or am I crazy here? I mean, because if Louisville beats FSU, which they did, FSU beats
Clemson,
and Clemson beats
Louisville, then they've all right. Then who's who?
They've all beat. But then what you do is you go to whoever the higher rank is, and you say, well, who have you beat? At that point, you'd have to go the highest rank, and say the only other team even who has a chance here is whoever beat them.
Now, out of those three, do any of them have a harder schedule than any of them?
Oh yeah, it all goes into that.
It's all.
I think that what you do is then you find out whoever's the highest rank is, they're automatically in, and then whoever beat them is in automatic.
Well,
if they're all tied up, because then you've beat somebody who is who's ranked number 2 as opposed to somebody who's not.
Would you take Louisville over Clemson right now?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
until Clemson shows me something, I would take
because it's not conference. We're talking about division.
Right.
You have conference as a whole. The
right.
whole
ACC. They got the East and West. I got you.
Okay. Well, the
Atlantic, they're North and South, right?
Atlantic and Coastal.
Right.
All three of those teams are in the Atlantic.
I understand what you're saying.
And the Coastal's left out in the dark. Like, who cares?
I think at this point it's a no-brainer. I think of the three, if they're all tied right, if it's all tied right now, I think Florida State's the one left holding the bag because Clemson still hasn't lost, and neither has.
Well, what's going to happen is you have to look at Louisville playing.
Louisville beat Florida State, so the conversation for Florida State is over.
Right now.
Right.
Now, depending on how the rest of the schedule goes, I mean, Louisville's ACC teams here, let me take a look who they have left. I mean, they're
Louisville
Clemson.
Still has to play Houston.
They still have to play
and
at
Clemson.
But that Houston, win or lose against Houston, I mean, for the sake of rankings, doesn't
affect that argument.
Conference,
right.
Yes. So looking at it, you've got Clemson left, you've got Duke, NC State, Virginia, Boston College. I mean, they have some okay.
They only have 2 games left. They've got Clemson and they've got Houston.
Houston, yeah. So if they defeat Clemson, then theoretically,
then it doesn't matter. The
conversation's
over.
But they lose to Clemson.
Doesn't Florida State play Clemson?
Clemson and Florida State play October 29th.
There you go.
At FSU.
There you go.
Still a lot of football. Anything can happen.
But just to hear that they went and hired an outside resource to analyze this and break it down.
This is the ridiculousness. If Clemson beats Louisville, then there's no conversation. All right, because at that point, I think Clemson beat Florida, and especially if Clemson beats Florida State, which is going to happen.
You think Clemson will beat Florida State? It's
I do.
FSU, man.
I do. I think until Clemson, now, just like I said, until Clemson shows me something, I'm not going to be excited about them.
No, me neither.
Until they lose, I'm not going to be overly worried about them either.
Well, I mean, that line for Florida State.
Florida State has been destroyed and almost got destroyed twice. As far as I'm concerned, you look at those 3 teams. Almost losing a game, is one thing. Almost losing a few games is one thing, but they actually won them. But Florida State has already been dismantled once and almost twice.
Florida State and, of course, South Florida play this weekend.
And we both took South Florida, didn't we?
And that line's gone from 7 down to 6 down to 5.5.
Right. I think South Florida wins.
You might see that at 3 points come game time. What is going on with the Seminoles?
South Florida is going to win that game. It's at South Florida. They're going to be excited. Florida State just got exposed. The only thing Florida State has going into this is they might be unbelievably pissed off.
Pissed is an understatement.
Right, but the way they're playing doesn't matter.
Yeah, it always
not
matters.
If they play like last week.
Well, if they're mad.
The Bulls are 3-0.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what I said. Didn't I say this yesterday? Was that yesterday on the show that I said? When's the last time you saw these 2 teams and South Florida was 3-0? Not Florida State?
Yeah, it is usually Florida State's the stronger.
Yeah, usually the other way around. Although you put USF against Louisville last week and,
I think Louisville still wins.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, then you're looking at a 2-1 Bulls
But that's why I'm saying Louisville is a much stronger school, much stronger team right now than Florida State is. So they're a tier down, and then that means they're on the same page as South Florida. And I think South Florida, I really think this is going to be a 3-point game, like I said yesterday, and I expect South Florida to be on top of it.
Is there ever a time that you would ever look at a outside sports resource for the event of a tiebreaker or any information or knowledge? Would you ever? outside resource.
It's kind of smart because they're not biased. I mean, they're not
if
biased.
you get a non-biased person, but outside the sport, no. I would want somebody who's in the sport, who knows what's going on, who can say, you know what, yeah, they had a loss here, but it was a close loss, and it was to this kind of team with this great defense, and that's all important stuff.
It factors. It really does. I mean, because you almost have to compare it to when the March Madness comes around and the 64, and you're passing out brackets, and you give it to little Janie and little Stephanie and
who's in the bubble,
and this person and that person that may or may not even know anything about college basketball, but they see the seeds 6 versus 11, 5 versus 12, and they're like, oh, just circling numbers because they like that number and this number and that number. You know, they have no idea what they're doing, and that's definitely what you don't want happening in a sport where there's so much money on the table, so much recognition, recruiting, you know, bowls, championship possibility, playoff scenario. So much factors into that, and you don't need some outside agency, and sorry, but some schmucks that have no idea about your sport making a final decision.
Right, because if you say a game, let's say, all right, you can look at it one way. Go, look, these guys lost to a good team by 7 points, and they played at home, and it was a gorgeous day. It's a lot different than the same game being played away in the rain against a good defensive team, where it comes out and you lose by 3 points.
Right.
That's a totally different situation.
But in that situation, you can't look at it as what the weather was involved, or
I mean,
you have to win. A win is a win, and a loss is a loss.
Right. But then you can understand how they ended up losing the game.
But that's not their job to understand.
It is because
their job is to decipher who goes in.
No, their job is to find out who the better team is.
That's
their job is to pick the better team, right? When they're all tied, you've got to pick the better team.
Yes, but no, definitely more.
Okay,
more
and how
so
do you
no.
pick?
Hold
How
on.
do you pick the better team by wins
and losses?
No.
Their job is
not if they're
to
tied.
break the tie, not pick the best team. Break the tie.
Right.
They don't look at records or strength of schedule and all the stuff that we analyze and look at as sports enthusiasts. They look at it as FSU, Clemson, and Louisville, and then they go whatever process they use from there.
Then that's real easy. Then you take whoever the darling is versus FSU. That's the way it is. Because
they might break it down.
It's a
by
bigger
points.
group of people, more money. That's what's going to come down to money. Then
they might break it down by point. Well, they already got contracted. Forget it. They got paid whatever to show up and say, okay,
right? But
this is your tiebreaker.
But they want to be paid again to come back and do it next time, right? So that means they want to make as much money for that game. If they pick a bum game that they only make $17 on,
they don't get to pick a game. They get to pick a winner.
But them picking a winner makes the next game. You know, they're making money on that team.
How about this? How about a 3-way round robin tournament?
Now you're adding
more. You're adding to the schedule,
and that's not fair to the kids.
No.
If some kid gets hurt in a playoff game like that, that would suck.
You're adding one extra game that doesn't need to be there.
Hey, you want to prove you're the best, you know.
Well, if you want to do that, then you just bracket it out for playoffs, period.
Yeah.
You make it to the top 20, and then
instead of the top 2,
go.
do the top 4 in a conference. But then now you're adding more games to the end of the season. And you know what? We say the risk of injury. I mean, it's always there, and you can't turn away from it. But how often do you really hear about these kids getting hurt in a playoff scenario? It's rare.
That's not true. It happens more than you think, and especially since these kids are not being paid, you're putting their future on the line.
I'm not going to cry about that.
You're putting their future on the line for us to be able to
definitely
say, "Oh, my team's better than yours."
No, it's not about my team being better than yours. It's about finding out who is the better team and who gets to go on and who gets to stay home.
Well, that's fine as long as you're not sacrificing kids.
It's no sacrifice.
That is sacrificing.
You guys are diehard. You guys are diehard college football fans,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Would you cry if your team played one more game? Wouldn't you want to see them play one more game?
To see who went into the position? Yes, I would, especially if my number one quarterback gets blown out and his knee's gone and he never comes back ever again. That would be a problem.
That could happen in any game.
If someone comes to me and
that's why you try to keep to as few games as possible.
In the Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State, and Michigan State are all in the same division. And if there was a 3-way tie,
Tennessee, Florida, Georgia.
There you go. If there's a 3-way tie,
we've never had this issue before,
but
because
it could happen. Now this is the next step in all of this craziness.
It happens in the SEC all the time.
It happened to the Big 12 a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, it happens.
But
you don't need someone to come in from out of town and go,
But
hey.
the problem is the Big 12 doesn't have a playoff game, so therefore it happened with a three-way tie, and it was a three-way share.
Right, it didn't matter.
No.
Right,
but
which is ridiculous.
when it does matter, you got to have a clear-cut winner. I don't want some Tom, Dick, Harry, and Susie and Janie sitting at a stupid conference table deciding whether, Michigan State or Ohio State. Well, you know what? I like the color red and the color green, so we're going to pick one of, come on.
Here's the thing, too. When it comes to being in a conference that does not have a playoff game, I won't force you to have a playoff game. My only thing is don't bitch and moan when somebody else's playoff game gets them above you. Don't tell me now that's an issue, because you can fix that at any point. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
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 So don't tell me that, it's okay as long as it is inconvenient for you. And I think every division should have a playoff. I think it's ridiculous they don't.
It's because it's more recent with the whole playoff scenario because of the BCS. The BCS was a great idea at first, just like Obamacare, until it starts panning itself out, and then you realize, no, this isn't working, because once again, the two best teams in the nation were not playing each other. The first, 4 seasons, we saw 1 versus 3, and then I think it was the first 3 we saw 1 versus 3, and then finally the 4th time around we saw 1 versus 2, and then by then the playoff scenario was being built and bracketed from there.
All SEC teams. That's what happens when you have a dominant.
No, you weren't in the first 2. So.
Not the first 2. My bad. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
No, USC was
and Texas.
kicking ass. USC and Texas were the 2 teams, and then ACC or SEC went on a 5-year
Auburn.
stretch.
Then it went Auburn year 2 because it was, what was that one with the 3 where Auburn got screwed?
There was Auburn.
That
LSU.
was the second year.
It was like Auburn, LSU. Bama back to back.
Because I think they were Auburn was undefeated and got knocked out. Remember?
And didn't get in.
Yeah.
And it was 1 versus 3. They were the 2. Right. Yes, and it was 1 versus 3. Yeah.
And then we went on a tear. Mm-hmm. Continuous.
So they're picking an outsider to pick the playoffs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are there that many crappy teams that?
Let's.
It's early. I don't think it's going to make a difference.
I hope it doesn't come down to this. I don't think kids are going to get shafted.
Florida State. I think Florida State's year is over. I think they have to get through LSU. They have to get through Florida State. FSU. No, I'm sorry. Sorry. South Florida first. They're going to have to get through Florida. They've got a bunch more games.
Regardless of who they play and lose to, if they win out the rest of their ACC schedule, they could be ranked 50th, but they're tied for first in their division.
Mm-hmm.
And end of the day, if Louisville has 1 loss, Clemson has 1 loss, FSU has 1 loss, regardless of the ranking, because that gets taken off the table, I'm sure, at some point, you look at 3 1-loss teams, and 2 of those 3 don't get to go and move on. 2 of the 3 get the boot. And that's unfortunate.
That sucks.
I think I think at the end of the year, when you look at it, you're going to be able to see who the clear winner is.
I think so too.
I think so.
I really don't see it coming down to the committee, but if it did, man, that's going to stink because 2 of those 3 teams don't get recognition.
There's always that one.
That's the way it goes.
There's always that one upset.
And
where somebody gets upset.
There's a real way around this, and it's called leave no doubt. Go undefeated. Play your best on
that's
field.
all you can hope for. But when that doesn't happen,
I know.
Then what?
Even if you do go undefeated, it doesn't mean you're going to make it.
I really don't see the whole.
Nothing's
committee.
Perfect.
No,
it'll be taken care of.
Okay, I'm going to read a headline to you, and I want to get your guys' reaction to this, and then I'm going to read you the story, and then I want to get your reaction to this. Okay.
Okay.
Rutgers AD, athletic director Patrick Hobbs, throws a beer back during a school-sponsored tailgate party.
And what's the question?
What's your reaction to that?
Nothing. That's what he's supposed to do.
Athletic director, working, drinking.
At a work-sponsored event?
You're part of administration. Okay, if that's how you feel, cool. If you're an administrator...
It's an event, right?
It was a tailgating party.
Right, absolutely. You can have a beer. It's absolutely fine.
Is he on his own time?
No, he's on the clock.
But it doesn't matter.
Clock, can't do it.
But he's...
Can't do it.
Really?
He's drinking with students.
So no award?
No
award systems you could ever go?
You're drinking with students on the clock.
When you get awards...
It doesn't matter who he's drinking with as long as they're legal to be there. you can be there and have a beer.
Okay.
Especially for an event like that, which is what it's there for. Because anytime you go to a function for work, you're on the clock because you are the head of that person. It's not like he's at his desk slamming back a beer.
When you go to a Christmas party if I had a job.
That's on the job.
If I had a job.
No, not Christmas party. Don't take it down that path.
And it's still on the job at a Christmas party. If you were there.
You're not on the job at a Christmas party.
You're
That's
just not being paid.
You're
really?
You're representing that
So
company.
if you called the boss an asshole that day, you don't get fired for that?
I don't want it going down that path because that's not the comparison. This is a sponsored tailgate party. Okay, not a Christmas party, not a bachelor party, not a birthday party. A sponsored tailgate party before a football game over the weekend. He's there, and he throws a beer back. Now, here's the rest of the story, okay? That's what the headline said. So, of course, right away, people are jumping all over it, wanting his head, wanting his job, blah, 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 blah.
I think that's ridiculous either way.
This is how it went down, okay? He literally showed up because there were so many people there, and the only way you could get in to this tailgate party, one, is to be of age, 21.
Right.
There's one stipulation. Two, had to be part of the school.
Right.
And three, it was in the parking lot of the football stadium. So therefore, it was in-house, it was fenced off, it was regulated. But since there were so many people there, police department was called. They showed up. They ended up passing out like 4 tickets. The school even pulled up all the necessary permits to have this event. And when Hobbs got up on stage to say, guys, applaud the police, stop giving them a hard time, listen, it was him. He was called to come in and tell the students to chill out. To calm them down. So he's doing that, and then the crowd starts chanting, drink a beer, drink a beer, drink a beer. And he's like, no, I can't do that. I'm on the clock. And he keeps getting criticized for it. And then finally he says, all right, fine, give me one of these. They can card me. I'm okay. I'm of age. Cracks it open, has a sip, and gives the beer back to the student that gave it to him.
That's no issue whatsoever.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
He could have drank the whole beer. He could have drank the whole beer. I would have had no problem.
Right. You know, it wasn't like he was sitting there getting sloshed. I mean, again, you're on company time. You were called in to do a job. He had a swig of beer, but eventually what ends up happening is the event got closed down because of whatever safety concerns that the police had. So they're no longer doing that for the students that are of age to tailgate to do that. So a little unfortunate, but I read that headline and it says right there, and I'm just scratching my head. I'm like, oh, this guy's getting fired.
Right there is a problem with
the press.
Media.
Yeah,
Yep.
Rutgers AD Patrick Hobbs throws back a beer at school-sponsored tailgate party.
He threw back a beer.
He had a
sip. He had a sip.
He would have had that whole beer. I still wouldn't have had a problem with it.
No, as long as he's not sloshed and doing things that he shouldn't be doing, I'm fine.
You show up to a party like that, you're like, hey, look, I'm going to have a quick beer, and then I'm out.
It wasn't
it's
even
called
that.
Socialize. What if it was champagne?
It was.
How many different events are like that with champagne where they're drinking champagne?
And that was in passing, literally.
Right.
He wasn't even there to hang out. He was told to go down
He was there to save the situation.
Right, to calm it down, and
there is no issue whatsoever. He should be applauded more than yelled at.
And no comments been made from the school in regards to what he did, and it almost looks like they're kind of sweeping it under the rug.
There's nothing even to say about it.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward this. If that party didn't get shut down, would he have stayed and kept on drinking?
Who knows?
No, because he wasn't going to be there to begin with.
No, he wasn't there.
He wasn't going to have a beer either.
He was never going to be there.
He wasn't going to have a beer either, but they talked him into it. So could they have talked him into keep on drinking?
He was in a suit and tie. No, he would have. No.
I bet you that suit and tie would have came off real quick. He would have been dancing on the
Showing
tables.
cohesiveness is one thing.
He would have been there on the table shaking his butt and twirling his tie around.
He's just trying to show him, hey, look, I'm one of you guys. Let's just mellow out and get out of here.
But I have no problem with what he did.
No. I just find it a little crazy that the press would tear that up and make it look like, 10 times worse than what it was with that headline.
And, how about this? You can even go further. He shows up at that spot. Then he's done. He finishes what he's supposed to do. Now he's on his own time. I don't care if he gets hammered. Knock yourself out. It's a football game. Just don't be an ass,
That's the plan. There's enough kids there with cell phones out recording everything, so obviously don't put yourself in a position where something bad can get recorded and blasted out there. So he, like I said, when I first read that, I was like, oh man, here we go, just another sore eye for another coach. And then I saw the video, and the video's up on my website, BrianGouldShow.com, and it's literally a 30-second, if that, hey guys, applaud the police. They're doing a great job. Listen to what they're saying. Drink, drink, drink. No, I can't. And then he's like, oh, okay, I'm of age. What are they going to do? Card me? Cracks it open, takes a sip, and then literally the video, the first clip ends with him with the beer in his mouth.
Right.
The other video, it's the sip, or the swig, whatever you want to call it, and then he hands the beer back to the young lady in the front row. So literally, even at that point, the media is still trying to get him.
Of course,
yeah,
of course.
They end it with it in his mouth, and
That
it's like,
media,
come on,
that media is crazy.
just dumb.
You know, there's so many things you can take out of context.
Irresponsible reporting is exactly what that is.
It's like Sandusky showers with another boy. Come on now.
Easy there, Chief.
He wasn't showering.
It's horrible.
Unreal.
Any games you guys are looking forward to this Saturday?
South Florida.
My new favorite team, Roll Tide.
I'm looking.
Yeah, this guy jumped on the frickin' Bama
jumped on the
bandwagon
Bama
over the
bandwagon.
I hate you.
What
Also, the Florida-Tennessee game. That's my number one I'm looking for. The South Florida is my number 2 game for the day.
Clemson and Georgia Tech, man. I think Georgia Tech's going to give them a little bit of a headache. Just got a weird hunch on that one.
I think we'll find out. We'll find out how good Clemson is this week.
So if that happens, then Clemson's out of the discussion of those three-way
Essentially,
tie, right?
Yeah, essentially.
No, because then at that point,
well, then they have their one.
the only
loss.
one that doesn't have a loss is
Louisville.
Louisville at that point. But that could change that day.
It very well could. I mean, Georgia Tech is a 9.5-point underdog at home. Clemson had a stellar game this last game. Finally, they put up some points and a shutout. USC and Utah. And Utah's only a 3-point favorite. And Utah is one of those Pac-12 teams that, I mean, we had them on our schedule last year.
They always put out a solid program.
They do, and it's the system. It's almost like Urban Meyer never left there. It's really weird, just the system that they use. They always stay relevant in the Pac-12, and USC's not out of the picture. I know they got the dog walked on them against Bama, but a win here and a couple more wins, you see them back in the top 25 easily. You can't exactly count their season out and over with, especially with the win this week over Utah. Georgia and Mississippi. Good old Miss.
Old Miss is going to win that game.
7 points, man.
Who's got the 7 points?
Mississippi's favorite, of course.
Of course, okay.
Yeah.
Old Miss is going to be angry for losing.
It's at Georgia, right?
No, it's home.
Oh, it's home. Yeah,
that's Old Miss all the way.
Old Miss is going to roll them.
You would think that. The fact that it's only 7 points, something tells me that Georgia might walk in there.
It's still an okay Georgia.
Yeah,
that's no joke.
I mean, again, it's a freshman quarterback, brand new coach, brand new system, brand new everything.
Yes.
Old Miss loses. That's 2 in a row for them, right? Because they just lose to my team.
No, they lost to Florida State.
They lost to
Bama. They lost to my team.
That is 2 in a row.
They lost to my team, Bama.
Yeah, his
that's
new
right.
team,
Yeah,
his adopted team. Yeah, if you guys are looking for a new fan, Joe's in the adoption mood. So
how do you literally change schools like that?
It's his first one. We're sitting there watching.
You've never had a school before?
No, we're watching the Michigan game at Buffalo Wild Wings, and he's like, "Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to start liking Bama." I'm like, "Why can't you pick a team that we both like, and we can both cheer them on?" Well, why would I do that?
Well, hang on 1 second. What's the reason why you're taking Bama?
I like the coach.
What's the coach's name?
That guy, Saban.
Yeah, all right.
I know.
You like
I know about Saban.
Yeah.
What's their color?
Maroon.
What's their mascot?
I suffer from it.
You got me on that one. It doesn't matter.
They're an elephant.
An elephant?
Yes, the Crimson Tide
is an elephant.
Is an elephant.
Yeah.
I'm not backing them. I need something more ferocious.
Like
really?
A Wolverine.
Gators.
By the way,
Wolverine.
Gators.
No animal can kill an elephant.
See, my son went to
not a full-grown elephant.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. T-Rex is pretty badass.
Well, that's a different animal. There's no T-Rexes. We're not basketball teams that are make believe.
Hey, killer whales are still out there.
How's a killer whale going to get a elephant?
Well, as soon
and
as
they don't
the
eat
elephant
meat.
falls in the ocean, and then it'll be.
You know what though? I don't know if a killer whale can eat an elephant. An elephant's big.
Pull it apart.
Killer whale can't get his mouth open that far.
You can.
I don't know. A great white shark could eat it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I'd pick the gators because my son was a gator.
There you go. What's wrong with the gators?
They don't have Tebow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's an argument.
He's still living in the
I jumped off that era.
Michael Jackson was king of pop, and
yes, he was. Elvis was the king of rock.
He's still tight rolling his pants at the bottom and crap.
Pegging
like
him.
Yeah.
I wear skinny jeans. Thank you.
That's not Metro at all.
All right, so now you're an Alabama fan.
I'm a Bama fan.
But
I'll jump off that wagon.
I would rather him be a crappy Bama fan, at least for being a fan of college football, as opposed to not being a fan at all.
Right. At least it's something.
Although I got to give props to Michigan for coming
for
back.
sucking that bad.
No, Michigan was losing.
For absolutely being horrible?
I thought Michigan was going to lose.
They suck.
And at the end of the day, when I heard they won, I was
They're
like,
horrible.
wow.
I love that
came
sentence.
back.
They suck.
I
What do
hear
we
everything.
suck
I
at?
hear everything you say. How
take a
horrible they
knee.
are, and how horrible and useless they are, and
Hey,
they're the worst
Tebow,
team in the history of the world.
Take a knee.
So
take a knee, Tebow.
Take this, buddy. Take this.
a knee. Take a knee.
This ain't a cross.
Yeah. Wisconsin at Michigan State, and State's a 5.5-point favorite at home. That'll be a really good game.
That's going to be at Michigan State. I'll take Michigan State on that.
You know what? Michigan State, once again, like I was saying earlier, Michigan State, and Ohio State. A lot of people are just pegging the Big Ten as a Ohio State-Michigan conference. Michigan State scares me, guys. They really do.
Well, they always beat you guys.
Well, not always. They've won 2 out of the last 3 Big Ten title games, and they find
always.
Always.
Ask the Schnecks who's going to win that game.
Yeah. That they always find a way to.
Well, they always put a decent team out.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Well,
and they hate both you and Ohio State,
badly.
so that's good.
Like they hate Ohio State because of a Michigan-Ohio rivalry. They hate Michigan because of Mike Hart's little brother comment from a few seasons ago. And because of that inspired.
Well, they're also the redhead stepchild of Michigan, and that pisses them off.
They used to be. Now they've got respect. Central Michigan.
No, they've got respect, but still, there's only one team in town, and that's Michigan.
Right now? No.
No, I'm not saying better, worse, whatever. I'm just saying when you say, hey, are you a fan of, there's much fewer State fans.
You'd be surprised, because even in basketball, there's a ton of State fans. Hockey, they do very well in hockey as well. I mean, Michigan athletics as a whole, whether you're a Michigan fan or Michigan State.
It's just going through the floor, I understand.
Right, yeah.
So what makes you a Michigan State fan a Michigan fan rather than a Michigan State fan?
I just grew up liking the Wolverines.
A lot of times it has to do with your dad or your mom, depending on what's going on.
I had neither.
How far apart?
To influence that decision.
Distance-wise, how far apart are their schools?
Ann Arbor from East Lansing is probably what, an hour and 15 minutes?
That's it?
Maybe more, maybe.
So you can't just root for both. You have to. Is it like a New York? It's like a New York thing where you can't root for the Mets and the Yankees.
Exactly.
Look, Evan's over there shaking his head. No.
I can't. Are you a sports fan at all? How are you even asking these questions?
I'm curious. Mm-hmm. I've never been to Michigan.
It's an hour and 4 minutes according to Google Maps.
I've never been to Michigan either, but I can't stand them. You don't have to be there to understand, to be passionate about it.
I don't like the Mets.
It's horrible for you to stay.
I don't like the Mets, so we're even.
We don't like you either. Don't worry about it.
I know when I'm not wanted.
Now it's getting weed. You just got weed.
We
don't like you.
Where? Pass it.
Kent State at Bama. Why even show up?
Roll Tide.
Come on. 43 points.
Are they favored?
They're only sponsored. They're only favored by 43 points.
43 points.
And it's at Alabama.
Yes.
Dude, there's something wrong there. 43
points. And the over/under is 50.
They're only favored by 43 points.
Listen to you.
There's something weird going on.
How long until they put their third stringers in?
Right, and that's probably why when you're up by 40 points, mercy rule kicks in, and then you're starting to put in second and third stringers. That's why it's not higher. They're being realistic.
That's
You're not going to keep your starters
40 points
from the first quarter to the end of the last.
Their fifth stringers could destroy Kent State alone.
40 points is still, you might as well not even show up.
Not against Kent State. 40 points is nothing. I'd take the over on that.
They're just getting paid. That's all.
I'd take the over on that all day long.
Of course, we talked about it. Florida State at USF. It's actually being played at Raymond James Stadium, so it's still a home game for the Vols.
At least somebody's playing there.
Florida at Tennessee. That's going to be a really good game. I think you've got your Florida and Tennessee are in the same division in the SEC. I think you get your division winner out of that game right there.
How bad? The thing that does piss me off. I've got no reservations that it's going to be a tough game. I definitely believe that Florida has got a much better. We are the best defense in football right now for college. That is. We were playing fantastic football. I know we're the better team, but we don't have our quarterback right now.
No, exactly. Now
Horrible
you're going through
timing,
another quarterback.
which sucks.
Statistically,
all because some douchebag from a crap school.
And I want an honest answer, not the biased Florida answer here, okay?
I only give
Please.
honest answers.
Yeah.
Florida ranked number 1 in defense, statistically. After watching Louisville, come on. You still think Florida's got a better defense than Louisville?
I do.
You think so?
I do, and this is the reason why.
All right, this I got to hear.
This, and you know, when we're going to find out real quick this week.
Yes,
we are.
Yeah.
I just say from just knowing the hard-nosed SEC defenses that are put out there, we know how to do it. We've done it before. We were like the top 3 or 4 last year in defense. So it's nothing new for us, and I just think we are. Now, we might not be number 1 in the country, but are we, definitely top 3? I'll give you that. That's an argument.
I could agree with that, yeah. I mean, I'm not a Louisville believer. It sounds horrible to say,
right?
I'm sure, and sounds horrible to hear, actually, come out of my mouth. It's not horrible for me to say.
If I was to say...
I just think right now...
If you put both of our defenses...
Positionally-wise...
If let's just say we put both of our defenses on the field, I do feel that Florida would be a better defense.
Man, I don't know.
I do.
I think Louisville's got.
We've got the pass rush. We've got the
Louisville's got it.
Our defensive line is just crushing people. Sacks out of control.
Who's giving up less points?
We are.
Then you have to be the best.
Well, we haven't played
statistically right now.
They've played tougher. They've played at least one tougher team.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But we've left some donuts out there too, which is nice. We've only given up. God, I can't. What is it? 9 points in 3 games?
Something like that. Yeah.
So
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a guy like me that knows nothing about sports.
And here's the thing: I'm a big defense guy, so I do look at that a little bit tougher.
Jeez, you scrutinize that category like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah,
defense wins you ball games.
It wins you championships, and that's absolutely true. And you know what? It's not. I can't say that definitely who the better is. I just think in my eyes. And it could be a little bit of grandeur on my part, but I think looking at last year for Florida, being how good they were last year for defense, being this year how dominant we've been.
Well, that and
so it's not just one swig I'm looking at.
To play off of that too. Last year's team, no joke, going into that Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl game against Michigan. I was sweating. I was like, man, this is going to be like a 20-14 game. This is going to be low scoring, maybe even 16-14. Like, I was really nervous that your boys were going to shut us down because running-wise, we ran the ball well, but we weren't great. We have excellent receivers there. So I figured at best, an interception here or there might open up the game for us to run a little bit, but just to put up as many points as we did against a defense that I thought for sure was going to put our quarterback on his rear end 4 or 5 times before the game was over. It was like the coach threw the playbook out and just said, yeah, we'll figure it out as we go along. Like, to see that meltdown and then to see him literally bounce back in the last couple games to start out the season, they're up there top 3, absolutely top 3. And
you look at the Michigan game, and I don't know what the deal is. I have no idea why. Anybody else we play, we would have just stomped. I don't know what the problem is, and we're going to find out, hopefully, well, maybe this year, and take it. but definitely we know we're at least going to get a chance at you early next year.
Yeah. No,
so we're going to find out. I mean,
wait to
so
see
in the
that.
next,
and that's home
so
and
that
home.
puts it in the next 11 months. There's a chance we play you twice.
Yeah. Very nice.
So
that'll make some interesting conversation on this program.
Yeah,
it sure will.
Yeah, it will. And then we'll just
guess who's going to that game. If and when that comes out, we're going to that game.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's no argument about that.
Penn State at Michigan. Michigan 19-point favorite. LSU at Auburn, and they're only a 3.5-point favorite over Auburn.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Auburn's way outgunned. Now, LSU is not the LSU it's been.
You know what? Les Miles, something's shifted with his coaching there. Something's off.
Where is it? It's at LSU, right?
It's at Auburn.
It's at Auburn. 3 points. I still think LSU's the better team.
Yeah.
It is not the team that it's been.
Mm-mm.
It is not where it usually is.
You might see
just Auburn. I think is just that's not even a real team anymore.
You might see a make or break coaching season for Les Miles if they don't do something really.
They
decent.
tried to get rid of him last year for having his first bad year.
I think he,
and he didn't even have that bad of a year.
No, and I think he's more on the ropes this year than he was last year. I think if he loses that game, you might see a new coach.
Which makes no sense because I think they stress him out to the point, and that might have a lot to do with just stress. He's second guessing himself where he never would have before.
Right.
You know, that's your own fault when you do that to a coach. That is not the way to do that.
Yeah,
your
you can't do
boosters
that.
are causing problems. You need to mellow out.
Hardcore.
Go have a beer with your team.
Hey, ask Tennessee how well that works out when you get rid of somebody you shouldn't get rid of.
That was an idiot move too.
That was the worst.
Yeah.
That was one of the worst coaching changes I've ever seen in my life, and I hate Tennessee, but I would have taken him. I would have taken him in a heartbeat after we got rid of our coach.
You know, there's a couple more games.
Ours went to Ohio State.
Won't go through them all because I want to cover more of that tomorrow and Friday for sure. Stanford at UCLA. UCLA 3-point underdog, hosting number 7 Stanford. That's a rivalry game. That's a Pac-12 rivalry game. I could easily see Stanford getting quote-unquote upset. I wouldn't even call it much of an upset. I had picked UCLA to win the Pac-12 this year, and I still think they've got a shot at it. I think they got a shot to beat Stanford. Nebraska at Northwestern, and Nebraska's a 7.5-point favorite. Northwestern's always that damn team I hate to see in the middle, early part of your schedule, because they find a way to fluke win, and Nebraska better hold on, because if Northwestern buckles down even a little bit defensively, Nebraska's going to have a very long game.
What was the point spread on that?
7.5.
That's still a lot.
It's one touchdown.
One touchdown.
The only other game that I think that's of interest to me, Oklahoma State and Baylor. Baylor's 7.5-point favorite at home.
Baylor is going to take out Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's horrible. I just think that, and I'm not saying Baylor's great, but they've been putting up some points, and I think it's a better of the two schools.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State's is.
Baylor should win that game. If Oklahoma State did pull it off, it wouldn't be much of an upset. The only reason why Oklahoma State's not in the top 25 is because of that stupid loss to Central on a play that shouldn't have been called, but then again, they shouldn't have been in a position to lose that game the way that they did anyways. They should have been blowing those guys out as it was. But those are just a few of the games that I'm looking forward to seeing over the weekend. I want to touch up on some hockey news from last night. World Cup of Hockey. Sweden defeats Finland 2-0, as I picked.
Ooh.
Canada defeats Team USA 4-2. USA is officially eliminated from medaling in the tournament now. Altogether, they have one game left against the Czech Republic on Thursday on ESPN.
Why even show up?
Because you know what? It's a pride thing, and it's you're representing your country. You show up and you give your best shot.
It is a pride and country thing. And you know what? And I said this off air, and I'm going to say it now. We had some wrong players on this team. We had some questionable coaching decisions. I didn't like our head coach, Tortorella, being picked. It was a bad performance, and it was horrible to see Team USA collapse the way that they did in the first two games that counted. Because they just beat Canada 10 days ago, 4-2. We manhandled that team. We were physical. We were fast. We scored. Last night, we got outplayed. Some people scrutinized Jonathan Quick in the pipes. It wasn't his fault on 3 of those 4 goals easily.
Putting up 2 in 14 seconds.
It's not his fault. He got skated into on one of them, and then the other one was a fluke play off the backboards behind him and came up. You can't goaltend against that.
Could that goal have been goaltender interference?
It could have been.
I don't know why it wasn't.
I was looking at that, and I said he was kind of bumped into.
Thank you.
I want to know why it wasn't. Because didn't they put him in the penalty box anyway?
We had goaltender interference called against us on a play in the second period, which is ridiculous. I mean, we didn't come in as the favorites for the tournament by any means, but we sure as hell didn't show up to get coached right out of it in 2 games. We lose 3-0 to Team Europe, and we get destroyed last night 4-2 by Canada. Again, I blame Tortorella. He got named the head coach during a time when he didn't even have a head coaching job. He was in between jobs, if you want to call it. And then 2 weeks later, he gets hired into Columbus. So I think he's got the whole, hey, I'm a head coach for Team USA on my resume. You need to hire me now. And that's how he got his job at Columbus. There was other, looking at the roster, I mean, I'm looking at Dustin Buffalin. He got picked over Phil Kessel, which is a head-scratcher. Tyler Johnson isn't on that team. Neither is Kyle, Tyler Akaposo, sorry. He didn't make the team. But some of these other guys...
Who are the goaltenders for us?
We had Jonathan Quick. Ben Bishop.
Bishop didn't play at all, right?
No. But the reason for that is because Jonathan Quick got the nod 10 days ago against Team Canada, and we beat him 4-2. So naturally, you go with the guy that knows how to play this team. But when he gets peppered, they scored 3 goals, 2 goals on 6 shots last night. Usually that is bad goaltending, but when your defense is anemic and not there to help out, and you get skated into it was a horrible.
If you could do it over again, would you put Bishop in now?
No, it wouldn't have mattered.
Really?
Bishop would have had those 2 goals go in just as easily.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, you can't say Bishop would have been in a better place. No, you get skated into and the puck goes in between your legs. It doesn't matter who you are.
Bishop's a bigger guy.
Doesn't matter. You get skated into by a guy that's skating.
But if you're a bigger guy, you're going to react different.
No, you're not going to react different. You're in the butterfly position. A guy's coming at you that's 200 pounds, and because you've got 20 pounds more than me, you're going to be in a better position and can stand that impact better? No, you're going to get skated into, and that puck's going through your legs. And then the one that went over his shoulder off the backboard and then came back up front, Bishop wouldn't have been able to.
That was just a lucky.
Right.
That was just a lucky
so
thing.
Bishop, you could have put a brick wall in front of that net, and they still would have got those 2 goals in. Unfortunately, it wouldn't have mattered, and it shouldn't have mattered because we should have beat that team last night. I'm very frustrated. It's very disappointing to see that. Literally, we got this fairly decent team assembled, and then crap the bed. We don't even show up. We get shut out the first game, 3-0, and then manhandled 4-2 last night.
Here's a thought:
3-0.
Yeah,
3-0, and you don't think you put Bishop in?
Mm-mm.
I would have liked to see Bishop. I would have liked to see those games played.
We all would have liked to see Bishop in there, but he wasn't. And
Jonathan Quick right now is the better goaltender of the 2. Right now.
Ooh, I don't know about
I
that.
can tell you that, yes.
When you're down 3-2, 3-0, you get swept. You don't even think about. Out. You don't even. Oh, I'm sorry. Shut up. You don't even think about.
And you're pretty much in an elimination game where you're not going to be playing
because
for
the guy that you have starting just beat that team. Why would you change it up? Why would you screw with the chemistry?
Because he just got killed by
right.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but we lost a team.
Team Europe.
Team Europe, which is the subpar team. It's not a real team. It's a combination of everybody who's left.
It's a combination of people that are good enough to play, but there's no
couldn't
room
make
for
their
them.
couldn't make their team.
Not couldn't make it. There wasn't room for them.
Right. So they're the second. They're the next tier.
There's an A. There's an A+ team,
and then they're the A team.
They are A.
They're the substitutes.
They're the next. They're the next tier, right?
They're A.
So they should
playing
have
against a B+ Team USA.
They should.
They still would have beat us with no matter who would have been in goaltender. It wouldn't have mattered. That team there is.
And the only reason why I say yes to that is because it would have ended up 1-0. Because if you get no offense, then you're right.
Yeah.
But it 1-0. I could definitely see 1-0 you lose. That's a different game. But 3-0.
Yeah.
Here's the thought, Brian. It just goes to show you, and I'm probably going to get chastised for this, but I'm going to say it anyhow. The best players in hockey do not come from the USA.
Not all of them.
Well, no.
A great portion of them. There's a good mix. A lot of them are Team
it's
Europe,
one of the,
Canada, Russia,
there's lots of Europe.
I mean, Patrick Kane.
Asia.
Patrick Kane
Canada.
Is the scoring leader from last year. You know how many goals he scored in this tournament so far?
Probably none.
None. The best goal scorer from last season, and he's an American. You know who the second best goal scorer is in the league right now? Tyler Johnson. And guess where he was?
He didn't make it.
Watching the game from his damn couch. That's what pisses me off.
And make no mistake, when you're putting together a team like this, a lot of times it's not who's the better person.
Right.
It's who's the better teammate for the team.
Phil Kessel, you know what he said on Twitter last night after the game? Sitting here sitting on my couch with my dog watching TV, I feel like there's something I should be doing. Because he got left off the team.
Yeah.
For Dustin Byfuglien. And I don't know. It really aggravates me.
Now, does anybody?
I was watching. Oh, I'm sorry.
Does anybody ever turn down the chance to play?
Unless you're hurt.
I mean, it's up to the person. They don't have to play.
No, these are guys that didn't get asked to play. Didn't get selected.
So Tyler didn't get asked at all.
And think about that. They're salty. They're salty about not just being asked. Imagine if you are asked and then you turn it down for no reason.
Who was it last? Was it last year that Stamkos got injured and he couldn't make it, and they picked Marty St. Louis?
Oh, that was a while ago. That was Sochi. Jeez, that was
Olympics,
the Olympics. Sochi.
Olympics
4 years ago. Yeah. And that's when we dominated
current
there.
events with Joe.
Yeah, that's when we dominated that whole. That was a really good run.
Hey, at least I knew it was hockey.
Yeah. Not to see Kessel on the team, at least Tyler Johnson.
By the way, Sochi is when we lost to Canada in the finals.
Yeah, in overtime.
That was a great freaking game.
So we didn't beat them there either.
No, we lost in overtime.
We hung with them at least. We beat them in exhibition game.
Yeah, we beat them right before that again.
But in reality, should we really be a Canadian team? I mean,
yes.
Hockey is a Canadian sport.
No, it's not. It's an American sport.
Canada's got 1/4 the amount of people United States does.
Canada claimed it, but it originated in the United States.
Well, it didn't work out for us last night.
No, that's why we gave it. Like I said, it's really disappointing. And
you know what?
Coaching is everything when it comes to this, because you got to find the right mesh. I said off air, I thought Jeff Blashill from the Red Wings could have coached that team. Mike Sullivan was on the coaching staff from Pittsburgh.
Apparently anybody could have coached that team better.
Yeah, because he's so hard-nosed. He has such a disconnect with the players. He had Applegator out there throwing body checks against everybody, just smash, and hopefully that opens up a breakaway for a scoring chance. You've got 90% of the best Americans on the planet on your team, and the other 10 were sitting at home watching between three of them. Why not play a strategic pass and go, bing, bing, bing.
A finesse game. Speed, finesse.
Bingo, because that's what we were. We outskated Canada the first time around. Last night, we're out there trying to crash the boards and poke check the puck and, not play our game. It was just, if anything, the player should have just kind of looked at Tort and said, yeah, bench me. Sure, bench me. I dare you. Bench me.
Yeah, I saw Brett Hall doing color commentary, and he's scratching his head at some of the decisions.
Pissed.
Yeah.
Like the timeout? The timeout at the very beginning of the game, like 8 minutes in or 6 minutes in?
I almost felt like Tortorella was there for publicity, because just before the whole tournament thing started, he was like, well, if any of my players kneel, they get benched. They won't get to play. Right from the get-go, it was a me.
But that's how Torts is. Torts has always been all about him, and he hasn't been the most friendliest player coach.
And sometimes that system works. When you're in the NHL, you're not coaching these guys for 82 games. You're coaching these guys for 3 exhibition, 3 regular tournament, and then the tournament, it starts. And guess what? We're 0-2, about to possibly go 0-3 against the Czech Republic, and we get to go home. Suter last night, after the game was over, a grown professional defenseman was almost crying because he felt he let our country down. That's what irates me the most, is that some of these guys get that emotional.
And you did.
That
there's no crying in
right.
hockey.
No. Like he felt that he let the whole country down by us getting eliminated last night.
You did.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Jerk face.
You hear that?
Yeah, well, just before we go to break here, give you a second here. WNBA playoffs start tonight. Phoenix Mercury versus the Indiana Fever. Seattle Storm at Atlanta Dream. This is the new format. The best 8 in the WNBA get to play. Good luck to those ladies. This is the Brian Gould Show, 444 Radio Sports Edition. We'll be right back.
Golfgate, Sarasota, it's time to eat, and there's only one place to go. Ham Heaven and Devil Dogs, 2647 Mall Drive in Golfgate. Try the one-of-a-kind filet mignon sliders or the award-winning Reuben sandwich, voted best in the state of Florida. Ham Heaven and Devil Dogs is open Monday through Saturday till 3 a.m. So after the bars close, you can get some of the best food in Sarasota. Call in and place your order today at 941-923-2514. That's 941-923-2514. Check them out online at hamheavenanddevildogs.webs.com or on facebook.com/HH&DD.
This is Chuck from the BS Show. I wanted to take some time to talk about a great charity organization, the Honor Flight. This organization flies our veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit those memorials dedicated to honor the service and sacrifices of themselves and their friends. Please come out and drink some beers at Hurricane Mike's on the last Saturday of every month from 1 to 6. Hurricane Mike's has a guest bartender at each event, 50-50 raffles, liquor baskets, and silent auctions. The bartenders even donate all the tips they make that day. Hurricane Mike's is located at 2639 Mall Drive in Gulfgate. Last month, Hurricane Mike's raised over $1,100 for the Honor Flight. From everyone here at 444 Radio and Hurricane Mike's, we want to thank you for your support of our vets.
Hey guys, how we doing? This is Evan from the Bee and the Soup Bed Show. I'm here with Rita from J Dub's Brewing Company, and we're in studio. How are we doing today, Rita?
Good, how are you?
Excellent. Hey, I know you have a fantastic brewery over there. Please tell me a little bit about it.
The brewery itself has a tasting room. It has 10 tap lines, so you can find anything that you want, from a light to a dark flavor.
So whatever you like, you can get it?
Absolutely, we got a flavor for you.
Perfect. Also, tell me a little bit about the beer garden I'm hearing so much about.
We got a big backyard out back. We're kid-friendly, we're dog-friendly, so you can come bring your family and friends and just have a good time, play some games, and drink some beer.
Excellent. And then you guys got food?
Absolutely. We got food trucks every day around 5 o'clock. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, noon to midnight.
Excellent. Hey, I hear a rumor that you guys do something cool over there on Wednesdays.
We do. We have free yoga on Wednesday evening starting at 6:30. Come hang out and drink a beer and stretch it out.
That sounds like a great way to spend a Wednesday, I'll tell you. It's 1215 Mango Avenue, Sarasota, Florida, 941-955-2739. And what about social media?
Go to jdubsbrewing.com and you'll find everything right there.
You guys are by far the best brewery in town, and we're proud to have you guys as our sponsor. Come on out there, have a drink with us, and we'll sit around and have a good time.
Cheers, guys.
Hey, this is Paulie from the BS Show. When I'm out and about, having too many, it happens to us all, there's only one cab service I call. It's my ride. 941-400-6606. No more 3-time surcharges. No more drivers that don't speak English, don't know where you're going. They pick you up. They take you home safely, clean cars. They're professionals. They know exactly what they're doing. And when you're riding with My Ride, don't forget to mention the BS Show, 20% off your ride. Chucky, on occasion, will have too much.
Not me, Paul.
These guys are the best. They're what you want to call. They will take care of you. 941-400-6606. My Ride. It's not your ride. It's not his ride.
My ride.
It's my ride.
Hello, this is Captain Sherman of Paradise Boat Tours, and if you're looking for a great adventure on our beautiful local waters, then we are the boat tour for you. Check out our website at seadolphins.com. We leave 7 days a week from Bradenton Beach Pier on beautiful Anna Maria Island. It's fun for the whole family, and yes, we see wild dolphin 95% of our tours. Paradise Boat Tours. Call us at 941-465-8624. Like us on Facebook or go to seadolphins.com. Here, Flipper.
So, Evan, you want to make the other announcement? I know you're excited and happy.
We do have a fantastic new sponsor, absolutely. We are now very lucky to have Rico's Pizza as a sponsor for us. 6547 Gateway Avenue in Gulfgate. They're open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. They've been there 17 years. Jump online, ricospizzatogo.com. Give them a phone call at 941-922-9604. We did find out today that you mentioned the 444 Radio or the BS show from 444 Radio. you will get 20% off your tab. Give them a phone call, guys, 941-922-9604 or ricospizza2go.com.
How you doing? This is Chuck from the BS Show. I would like to tell you about a great company, Sarasota Sign Machine, LLC, the exclusive sign and print sponsor for 444 Radio. A sign of quality you can trust, located at 601 North Washington Boulevard, celebrating 6 years in business and over 20 years of experience in Sarasota. If you need signs, banners, vehicle magnets, custom design, neon repair, business cards, printing, and more, trust the Sarasota Sign Machine. Look, let's be honest, you have so much more to think about when running your own business. Call us at 941-302-4275. Check us out on Facebook or at sarasotasignmachine.com. A sign of quality you can trust. Tell them the BS Show sent you.
Evan, we've lived here 6 months and this bathroom still looks terrible. You're supposed to help me remodel it by now.
I know. You just know how busy I am, though.
Busy? We've got to get this done. If I can't do it because I don't have time and you don't have time, what are we going to do?
I know who to call.
Hello, my name is Stephen Dennis. I own a business here in town called NeedAman2 LLC. My email address is needaman2@gmail.com. My number is 941-232-2776. Again, that's 941-232-2776.
Oh my gosh, this looks amazing.
What a great idea.
Come out to J-Dub's Brewery on Saturday, September 24, 2016 from 6 to 10 p.m. for Art Rhymes and Beer, a music and art series that features artists, musicians, and local businesses joining together for a charitable cause. A silent art auction and raffle benefits Any Given Child Sarasota, an organization that is changing young lives through the arts in Sarasota School. Art Rhymes and Beer is sponsored by Art and Frame of Sarasota, Kimmel Lumber, and Bobcat Disposal. For more information, go to facebook.com/artrhymesandbeer or email artrhymesandbeer@gmail.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sean Stringer. Me and Dr. Philip Nikeo are the newest members of the 444 radio lineup. We'll cover weight loss, health issues, mental health issues, and we'll talk with top health, wellness, and personal development gurus in the industry. You can even call in with your questions and much, much more. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Wednesday nights from 7 to 9 on 444 Radio.
We are back. Good Wednesday afternoon, guys. This is the Brian Gould Show Sports Edition on 444 Radio. Please call in at any time, 941-330-4087. As always, you can see what we're talking about on my Twitter feed at RealBrianGould, or just go to briangouldShow.com and you can find it there. Hit me up on Facebook, and all the other links are there as well. Some MMA news I want to get into. Bill Goldberg, guys, says if Conor McGregor's says that Conor McGregor's comments are real, but he's just a keyboard warrior. Now, once again, McGregor's flapping his gums, and Goldberg has stepped up and said one thing for sure is as long as things don't get hokey, everything will be okay. And he says, quote, "I can tell you one more thing. I was around when Brock responded to Conor, and nothing that Brock does is a work." So this is like legit, like this is getting under Brock's skin with what McGregor's doing.
Yeah, but what's the honest chances of like a Brock fight McGregor?
Well, it's not going to happen. No, but just to see McGregor still poking the stick, calling it what he's calling it.
You don't think Vince McMahon's behind it saying, poke it, we'll bring you into Mania once the heat's on.
Right, exactly. I mean, there's always that possibility that there's an angle or storyline to this. You know, it's one organization to another. Now that the UFC's under new ownership, you know, they may even encourage this or might be encouraging this at this point.
Would you encourage it?
It's all about business. It's money. I mean, your sport, if you're a UFC person, you're hating every aspect of this because it's fake wrestling and blah, 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 blah. Well, you fake wrestling callers, go screw yourselves because it's scripted, but these guys are 10 times the athlete that UFC fighters will ever be, and that probably sounds crazy to you, but go roll around in a wrestling ring for 5 minutes. If you can make it 5 minutes without getting blown up, I'll give you I'll give you $1. If you can make it 6 minutes, I'll give you $1 million.
But blown up doesn't make you tough.
No.
Not getting blown up doesn't make you tough.
Yeah, but I'm saying athleticism-wise, man. These guys are world-class athletes.
Oh, yeah, you
They're
don't
up
have to
there.
tell me that.
You're right. Both of us know.
I'm a world-class athlete.
Exactly. So McGregor's flapping his gums, and
that thing with Floyd Mayweather, now that's done now,
that's
right?
over with.
Mayweather doesn't want to fight him.
No, it's not that he doesn't want to fight him. He wants to fight him, but the offer was on the table. McGregor and him couldn't put it together, so he took it off the table. More or less just saying it's not going to happen, so stop pursuing it.
Which would happen first, him versus Mayweather versus McGregor, or McGregor showing up at like a Mania?
Oh, McGregor's going to show up at some WWE event of some sort. That's more or less what I'm taking from this. I mean, what's happening is if this is a big work, Vince is in on it with McGregor. Vince hasn't let any of the WWE boys know. That's where the problem is, and that's the golden rule as a promoter. You don't tell the ending. Like our main event for Fighting for a Cure. Only 3 people knew the ending to that. Me, you, and Ro. Okay, none of the boys knew. None of the wrestlers knew, and that's how this works. So none of the wrestlers know about this being a work. I mean, a lot of us can see that it's a work, and then some of us, look at it that it's a complete shoot.
Vince might be testing the boys too to see how. I don't want to say how loyal they are to him. If they're defending the business that they're in, then that shows loyalty on their part.
Well, the last time that they didn't let, speaking of Floyd Mayweather, they didn't let the wrestlers know that stuff was a work. Big Show got his nose broken, and a handful of wrestlers came running from the locker room wanting to beat up Floyd Mayweather and his entourage in the ring, and they cleared out, like legit fight. Like you jacked one of our boys. He's the biggest guy in the roster, but now you got to deal with 20 of us to the 8 of you. You're not leaving the arena.
It goes further back than that.
Oh, and they didn't realize it was a show? They thought it was real?
A work, yeah. In other words, Big Show knew he was in on it. Floyd was in on it, but no one else was in on it. And Big Show gets his nose broken, and all of a sudden he goes irate. He's working the angle, and then some of the other boys in the back came running out and confronted Floyd Mayweather and his entourage, but they cleared out of the ring. So as they're backing up the ramp, the entrance ramp, and they go through the curtain, they're met by more boys in the back, and they're like, guess what? We're going to beat the living hell out of you. You just jacked our boy. So they barely escaped the arena alive because officials had to come in, split things up. It got dirty and bad quick.
It goes back further than that because when Tyson did his little thing, something happened where he had money in his hand and the money got taken out, or I forget what it was, but
something along
something
that line
happened there where somebody didn't know something was going on, and
they robbed Mike Tyson.
Well, they took some. I forget. I don't know if it was money, something along that line. So I don't remember the full
one
story.
of his guys said his chain got stolen while the ruckus was going on. I forget what it was.
Yeah, someone got their necklace
like
ripped off of them or something crazy. It was something weird.
Stuff like this has been going on for ages, So you're all for cross promotion in sports.
If it's making money, yes.
Absolutely. If it keeps interest. I mean, you ever see Rocky 3? Come on, man.
Right. And
Thunder Lips?
I understand keeping them separate. I mean, UFC's done a great job keeping their image up. They went from being that underground fighting circle to, okay, let's do this the right way. Let's get regulated. Let's introduce rounds, weight classes, so that we're actually looked at as a legit sport, which they've done excellent over the last 15 to 16, 18 years. And now they start intertwining with WWE, quote-unquote, fake wrestling, scripted wrestling, and people are just looking at it as a giant circus.
By the way, that's more realistic. Scripted wrestling as opposed to fake wrestling.
Right. So, they're looking at it as a circus. I understand frustration because I'm a UFC fan as well, but I get, from a promoter standpoint, you have to find where the pulse is at in the tempo, and sometimes you have to reach out into an audience area where you don't normally tap into. And I just talked about this with Chuck a couple weeks back, longer than that, maybe like 2 months ago, where there's 3 circles that you look at from a promoter standpoint. You have the immediate circle where all of your fans that show up to your shows are die hard. They know everyone on your roster. They follow all your Twitter feeds and Facebook feeds, and if you do a public event at Hooters or at the public library, they're there. The die-hard fans. And then the next circle that
those are the ones you love.
That's guaranteed. The next circle is the mediocre fans that watch some of the stuff on TV. They know some of the names. They might go to an event here and there if it's in their area because it's of interest because their favorite wrestlers on the card and they want to see them wrestle live. And then there's the third circle, which,
by the way, that's the group that you need.
The third circle is the one you need. This last one, and that's the circle where they know that it exists. They might know someone. They probably don't, but they're there because their buddy is really into it. They know someone that's wrestling on the card or a big event. It's WrestleMania in Sarasota, so hell, why not? I'll go because you're into it, and I can actually say I went to WrestleMania in my hometown. And then they show up. That's where you want to grab that audience because, heaven forbid, if you actually grab them and they want to start coming back, now you're tapping
Even if you're getting 1 in 1,000 of those people who are now fans.
Exactly. Now you're tapping into a pool where you haven't touched before. And that's where UFC is starting to venture off, and I see Dana turning into a Vince Jr., so to speak, because he's already got the MMA guys. He's got that first circle, okay? He's got the diehard, I go to all the shows, I watch it on TV, I know all the fighters, I know all the names, blah, 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 blah. And then he's got, I'd say, about a third of that second circle, Joe, where you've got guys that'll go when it's feasible. They know some of the guys, they'll go because a buddy's fighting. They might go to a local show at the hall or at Robarts or wherever that's local for you, just for something to do. I think he's only got about a third of that audience, and he has none of the last circle. That's the wrestling fans, that are the baseball fans, the boxing fans that don't look at it as a real sport. It's barbaric. It's just beating the hell out of each other. I think he's only tapped into a third of that second circle.
So you're saying none of the UFC fans are wrestling fans?
I'm not saying none. No. I'm saying that's the third that he's touched upon. And that's because Brock Lesnar's gone there. That's because CM Punk's gone there. The fans that want to watch something that's athletic and two guys getting in a ring and beating the hell out of each other, that's not wrestling. Those wrestling fans that are there. I don't think the UFC has every aspect of the wrestling crowd captivated in until stuff like this happens. Conor McGregor starts calling out wrestlers and saying, well, I'm not really addressing you, the fans, but your wrestlers are a bunch of pansies.
But where does it end, though? He's calling out wrestlers now. What's next? He's going to call out baseball players, and then baseball players transform into MMA fighters.
Well, no.
Tim
Tebow.
Conor McGregor.
No, obviously that's not going to happen.
But Tebow would kick McGregor's ass.
Come on, now you're talking out of left field.
But why couldn't it happen?
You call out Tebow, and Tebow shows up, and he's in the crowd.
No, not Tebow. Not Tebow, but I'm saying if there is a baseball player with some martial arts skill.
Mike Trout, okay, he's a big boy. There's not one MLB player that would even attempt to get in the octagon with any of these guys because it's just been proven that regardless of the training that you've had for the last 2 years and regardless of your background.
You're getting your ass kicked.
I.e. CM Punk. Yes, exactly that. So because of that Punk rule, that Punk philosophy, you won't see anybody jumping in there.
But the point I'm trying to make is you're all for cross
absolutely
promotion.
Cross promoting, yeah.
So why not where's it end?
Not going to that extent. No, you're taking
player,
you're taking it to the next level of guys wanting to get into the octagon. That's not going to happen. There's no logic to that.
Would you take somebody from the octagon and put him
on a baseball field
at bat and have him hit a curveball
just because he used to play? No, that's not happening. But to at least say, hey, Conor McGregor called out Mike Trout and called him a little fish stick instead of a trout. It puts some hype and some
But what's
focus.
it all about? It's all about putting butts in the seats, right?
And selling tickets, money.
So who's to say it won't happen?
It's not going to happen, Joe.
You're saying it won't happen.
It won't happen.
If it puts butts in the seats, you never know.
Like Mike Tyson would say, that's ludicrous.
We never thought
ludicrous.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. But just to see, Bill Goldberg stepping up and saying, you know what, I might go jump into kickboxing for a little bit and teased that. So you might not see him in a WWE ring first. You might see him in a kickboxing ring before anything else.
So who wins that fight?
Between
McGregor and Goldberg.
Oh, that fight would never happen. Goldberg's 260. McGregor's 160. It's a 100-pound weight difference. Never going to happen. Ever.
McGregor has all that experience.
McGregor would have to come up to 206, and Goldberg would have to come down to 255 for them to be in the same weight class at heavyweight.
Okay, Mayweather and McGregor.
I would love to see that fight. If that's just stand-up, obviously Mayweather. If it's going to the ground, obviously
he's going to take Mayweather down and submit him.
Yeah.
In about 2 seconds, a la Punk.
2 minutes. So, as McGregor flaps his gums, he's pissing off more and more WWE guys, and eventually...
Does he even have a fight coming up?
No, he's
got
time off.
Just shut up.
I thought they just announced he was fighting someone, or someone
it was
leaked.
Diaz.
No, well, that fight's not going to happen because of the weight class difference, and McGregor has to defend his featherweight title, which he's not looking to do anytime soon. So he might end up losing.
No, it wasn't the Diaz. It was somebody else. I just saw it today on Facebook.
If he is, then it's news to me.
If you're the new owners of the UFC and McGregor's flapping his gums this much, wouldn't you want to really rush out and put him against somebody? Because that's what's going to draw your money when the guy's hot and in the public
But I just
eye.
thought you said that that's not the way they should do it.
Yeah,
you've been bitching about that for the last 3 weeks now.
About what?
About he's hot and that's why we got to put him out there. You said you have to earn it, right? You have to be there. You can't just skip people.
Wait.
You've got this earning thing,
right?
Yeah,
hasn't he been bitching about that for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
The whole thing with Tebow, right?
Because we're talking about GSP coming back, and you're like, oh, he hasn't earned a shot yet.
Right, but GSP hasn't been around. McGregor's at least been around.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I mean, McGregor's going to have to look at defending his title before anything else.
McGregor never left any time. That's why I'm saying he's hot right now, too.
And for UFC, The Ultimate Fighter kicks off tonight on Spike TV. So if you guys are into The Ultimate Fighter, tune in. It's being dubbed Tournament of Champions Team Benevet. These are names I'm not even going to attempt it. Just watch it. I'm not going to hack these names. I'll feel bad. And then, of course, this Saturday is UFC Fight Pass on Fox Sports 1. Headlining is Cyborg versus Landsberg. That'll be a good fight for about the first minute and a half.
There's still talk about
Cyborg and Rousey.
Do you want to see it at this point?
I do, but I don't want it to be Rousey's first fight back, obviously. No.
I think she'd get killed.
Yeah. I mean, it needs to happen just for the sake of it happening, just like Mayweather and Pacquiao. I mean, at that point...
but look how disappointed we were in that.
Well, by then, Pacquiao had already lost, 2 fights, or lost a fight by then, and it wasn't even relevant. It should have happened when it got brought up 3 years prior to that, but it didn't happen. So for this card coming up on Saturday, a couple of marquee names, Roy Nelson taking on Silva.
Big Country.
Bigfoot versus Big Country.
Mark Boswell. Oh, wrong. Big Country.
Wrong. Big Country. Who do you like in that matchup? Bigfoot or Big Country?
They're both big.
Yeah.
I don't know. Roy Nelson always he never comes in shape, but
I can't stand that guy, and you know that.
I know.
Him and Frank Mir.
I don't like Bigfoot though. His chin just bothers me. Somebody just pop him right on that chin. But I think Bigfoot takes it.
Man,
I don't know.
They both have great experience,
and they both can throw some hands.
Mm-hmm. Man, I got a weird feeling Nelson's going to win it. I think he's faster.
By decision?
No, I think he wins by some type of technical knockout. He's faster. Bigfoot's big, but he's faster than Bigfoot, and I think that's going to be the difference.
Bigfoot.
I think he knocks him out or does a technical knockout of some sort.
I've always been a Big Country fan. I wish I wish Dana and them had done more with him.
Well, it's because he's a fat slob. He really is.
He doesn't represent
the He doesn't look like a heavyweight champ, even though he's in the heavyweight division.
Let's not throw on fat slob too much. Right?
Sorry. Take your headphones off for a minute. Thiago Santos versus Eric Spicely. That'll be a good fight. Those two very, very fast. Thiago Santos should win that fight. And the only other one that I would be kind of interested in watching, taking a look at the card here, Alan Patrick versus Stevie Ray should be a pretty good fight. Other than the main event, the Cyborg match and Landsberg, there's not enough women in the division to separate and do the next weight class up. So it's unfortunate because there is a weight discrepancy between Rousey and Cyborg, and that's another reason why they're not going to be fighting anytime soon.
And, that's a legitimate beef.
Legit beef, yes.
And for both, because nobody wants to be in their perfect weight and then have to drop weight, and nobody wants to be at the perfect weight and have to put weight on.
Right.
Because you're either going to be lethargic or you're going to,
right.
It's not
you're
going to
born
work.
the size that you're born to be, and you put on the weight that you're born to have. I weigh 220, and Joe, you're at what?
165.
Okay. There's a 80-pound swing right there. So I'll trim down 15 pounds for a fight at best.
And I'll beat your ass.
And you probably would not do that. But, just for an 80-pound swing like that, granted their swing's much less. It's 40 pounds. But, remember back in the day when they used to do the super fights before it got real regulated like it was? They'd have like a Dan Severn versus Ken Shamrock, and those guys were a solid 40, 45-pound difference, and they call it a super fight. And I think they should do something like that now. But the problem that...
Look at Couture and Lesnar when they fought.
Right.
Couture was what,
Couture was 205.
Was he that low?
And Lesnar came down, quote-unquote, to 255. That's what
still
makes that
quite a bit of weight.
A 50-pound difference. Now, for the weigh-in, he's at 255, but Lesnar walks around legit 280. So I guarantee as soon as he weighed in, hit that 255, that dude's eating 19
Yeah, but you're not going to gain
and
30 pounds like that.
You want to make a bet?
You're not going to
You'll
gain
gain most
pounds.
of that back in the 24 hours.
You might gain 10 pounds at the most.
Man.
I don't think you gain that much more.
But to see a super fight with those two would be really, really cool. I would love to see that. Well, let's take a...
Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
AP out for the season.
He is done. I was going to talk about that afterwards.
To miss several months. He's in surgery. He'll be in surgery tomorrow.
Torn meniscus?
Yep,
done. They were hoping that if he didn't play this weekend, he might play next weekend.
Thanks for coming, Vikings.
Oh, yikes. Okay.
Glad I picked him 6. That was fun.
Yeah, I'm glad I had him as my keeper on my other...
First RG3 and now AP.
So awesome.
Come on.
Well, let's take a quick break here, and when we get back, we'll talk about NFL news. That was one of the topics I wanted to get into. This is the Brian Gould Show Sports Edition on 444 Radio. We'll be right back.
I'm Dr. Sean Stringer. Me and Dr. Philip Nikeo are the newest members of the 444 radio lineup. We'll cover weight loss, health issues, mental health issues, and we'll talk with top health, wellness, and personal development gurus in the industry. You can even call in with your questions and much, much more. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Wednesday nights from 7 to 9 on 444 Radio.
Come out to J-Dub's Brewery on Saturday, September 24, 2016 from 6 to 10 p.m. for Art Rhymes and Beer, a music and art series that features artists, musicians, and local businesses joining together for a charitable cause. A silent art auction and raffle benefits Any Given Child Sarasota, an organization that is changing young lives through the arts in Sarasota School. Art Rhymes and Beer is sponsored by Art and Frame of Sarasota, Kimmel Lumber, and Bobcat Disposal. For more information, go to facebook.com/artrhymesandbeer or email artrhymesandbeer@gmail.com.
Evan, we've lived here 6 months and this bathroom still looks terrible. You're supposed to help me remodel it by now.
I know. You just know how busy I am, though.
Busy? We've got to get this done. If I can't do it because I don't have time and you don't have time, what are we going to do?
I know who to call.
Hello, my name is Stephen Dennis. I own a business here in town called Needaman2 LLC. My email address is needaman2@gmail.com. My number is 941-232-2776. Again, that's 941-232-2776.
Oh my gosh, this looks amazing.
What a great idea.
How you doing? This is Chuck from the BS Show. I would like to tell you about a great company, Sarasota Sign Machine, LLC, the exclusive sign and print sponsor for 444 Radio. A sign of quality you can trust, located at 601 North Washington Boulevard, celebrating 6 years in business and over 20 years of experience in Sarasota. If you need signs, banners, vehicle magnets, custom design, neon repair, business cards, printing, and more, trust the Sarasota Sign Machine. Look, let's be honest, you have so much more to think about when running your own business. Call us at 941-302-4275. Check us out on Facebook or at sarasotasignmachine.com. A sign of quality you can trust. Tell them the BS Show sent you.
So, Evan, you want to make the other announcement? I know you're excited and happy.
We do have a fantastic new sponsor, absolutely. We are now very lucky to have Rico's Pizza as a sponsor for us. 6547 Gateway Avenue in Gulfgate. They're open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. They've been there 17 years. Jump
anywhere.
online, ricospizza2go.com. Give them a phone call at 941-922-9604. We did find out today that you mentioned the 444 radio or the BS show from 444 radio, you will get 20% off your tab. Give them a phone call, guys, 941-922-9604 or ricospizza2go.com.
Hello, this is Captain Sherman of Paradise Boat Tours, and if you're looking for a great adventure on our beautiful local waters, then we are the boat tour for you. Check out our website at seadolphins.com. We leave 7 days a week from Bradenton Beach Pier on beautiful Anna Maria Island. It's fun for the whole family, and yes, we see wild dolphin 95% of our tours. Paradise Boat Tours. Call us at 941-465-8624. Like us on Facebook or go to seadolphins.com. Here, Flipper.
Hey, this is Paulie from the BS Show. When I'm out and about, having too many, it happens to us all, there's only one cab service I call. It's my ride. 941-400-6606. No more three-time surcharges. No more drivers that don't speak English, don't know where you're going. They pick you up. They take you home safely, clean cars. They're professionals. They know exactly what they're doing. And when you're riding with My Ride, don't forget to mention the BS Show, 20% off your ride. Chucky, on occasion, will have too much.
Not me, Paul.
These guys are the best. They're what you want to call. They will take care of you. 941-400-6606. My Ride. It's not your ride. It's not his ride.
My ride.
It's my ride.
Hey, guys. How we doing? This is Evan from the Bean and Soup Bed Show. I'm here with Rita from J-Dub's Brewing Company, and we're in studio. How are we doing today, Rita?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. Hey, I know you have a fantastic brewery over there. Please tell me a little bit about it.
The brewery itself has a tasting room. It has 10 tap lines, so you can find anything that you want, from a light to a dark flavor.
So whatever you like, you can get it?
Absolutely. We got a flavor for you.
Perfect. Also, tell me a little bit about the beer garden I'm hearing so much about.
We got a big backyard out back. We're kid-friendly. We're dog-friendly, so you can come bring your family and friends and just have a good time, play some games, and drink some beer.
Excellent. And then you guys got food?
Absolutely. We got food trucks every day around 5 o'clock. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, noon to midnight.
Excellent. Hey, I hear a rumor that you guys do something cool over there on Wednesdays.
We do. We have free yoga on Wednesday evening starting at 6:30. Come hang out and drink a beer and stretch it out.
And that sounds like a great way to spend a Wednesday, I'll tell you. It's 1215 Mango Avenue, Sarasota, Florida, 941-955-2739. And what about social media?
Go to jdubsbrewing.com and you'll find everything right there.
You guys are by far the best brewery in town, and we're proud to have you guys as our sponsor. Come on out there, have a drink with us, and we'll sit around and have a good time.
Cheers, guys.
This is Chuck from the BS Show. I wanted to take some time to talk about a great charity organization, the Honor Flight. This organization flies our veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit those memorials dedicated to honor the service and sacrifices of themselves and their friends. Please come out and drink some beers at Hurricane Mike's on the last Saturday of every month from 1 to 6. Hurricane Mike's has a guest bartender at each event, 50-50 raffles, liquor baskets, and silent auctions. The bartenders even donate all the tips they make that day. Hurricane Mike's is located at 2639 Mall Drive in Gulfgate. Last month, Hurricane Mike's raised over $1,100 for the Honor Flight. From everyone here at 444 Radio and Hurricane Mike's, we want to thank you for your support of our vets.
Gulfgate, Sarasota, it's time to eat, and there's only one place to go. Ham Heaven and Devil Dogs, 2647 Mall Drive in Gulfgate. Try the one-of-a-kind filet mignon sliders or the award-winning Reuben sandwich, voted best in the state of Florida. Ham Heaven and Devil Dogs is open Monday through Saturday till 3 a.m. So after the bars close, you can get some of the best food in Sarasota. Call in and place your order today at 941-923-2514. That's 941-923-2514. Check them out online at hamheavenanddevildogs.com. www.webs.com or on facebook.com/HH&DD.
Welcome back, guys. This is the Brian Gould Show Sports Edition on 444 Radio. As we found out just before break, AP is probably done for the season, at least till the playoffs, if not for the season. That was my topic that I was going to discuss coming back from break. Buy or sell Peterson and Gurley. And obviously we're all bailing out on Peterson. For those of you in leagues that can release him, unlike mine, stuck with him. Gurley, I'm just about done with Gurley myself. Jay, you want Gurley? No.
No, I don't think I want anybody on LA.
Good Lord.
Gurley's not doing anything.
No. Gurley's going to.
He will. I think he will, honestly.
Let's see
I would
here.
take that trade for him, but then you'd hate me.
I
Hang
hate
on.
waiting. I need results now.
Let's see. For Gurley,
Yeah.
who are you looking for? How about a tight end?
How about a running back?
Want a running back?
And a tight end.
No.
I have to. Yep.
No.
Guys doing trades live on air.
If I'm giving up Gurley, I'm getting 2 for 1.
He's right.
He's
right.
He's worth
That's
that.
a top 5 pick.
Yeah, but you know what though? You need somebody now. You need points now.
Hey, if you want to block, quote unquote block, but that's fine with me.
How about are you on a wide receiver?
No, I need a tight end
and a running back. How about?
I'll let you think about that.
How about Janovich from
That's a horrible.
Denver?
You're killing me.
And I'll give you McDonald from San Francisco.
Why don't you give me your syphilis that you have too?
What? You have a problem with that?
Because you're crazy.
Yeah, I do.
Dude,
yeah.
McDonald's been doing pretty well this year.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's put up 30.4 points in 2 games.
Okay, hold on. It's like, what are you trying to get? I know Evan's trying to. What are you looking for? A running back?
Running back. I have to replace Gurley. And
Are you looking for a flex guy or a running back?
Running back. And I guess I need a tight end. I don't know. I haven't really looked at that team.
Well, I have
what
three.
Do I need?
I have 3 tight ends.
Yeah, I know I have 1, but
I think Evan has 3.
Actually, I think I need. I think my whole bench is wide receivers, so I think I do need a running back and a tight end.
How about?
I haven't looked at that team yet.
See, I've given up on Thomas Rawls. So if you want,
do you have it there? What's my bench look like?
Yours? I don't know.
Yeah.
Bench looks like garbage. Is what it looks like. Janovich is no good for you? You don't like Janovich? No.
Oh, you've got Melinda this week? Oh,
yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah.
No, I'm already chalking up my season as a 1 in however many games we play. I'll win 1.
Oh, you can't be like that already.
Oh, look at this. The way the draft went. Yeah.
Hey, you're projected to beat Melinda.
How about Duke?
How? She got someone that's injured that she just needs to switch out, and then I lose.
How about Duke Johnson from the Browns?
What are you talking about?
No?
You're
playing Miami this week.
Stafford's higher than Palmer.
He should be.
Your first Ivory's higher than Doug Martin.
That shouldn't be.
Gurley is not.
Wait, Doug Martin's injured. He's not even playing this weekend.
He got hurt. He got hurt Sunday.
They haven't updated that.
There
yet.
you go. Yeah.
No, it still has her projected for 8 though.
Yeah, he's gonna get 0 points.
Shh! Don't say that on air. Melinda's probably listening.
Melinda, pay attention.
Kayfabe.
Anyways, the Cardinals and the Panthers can still whip you guys. They looked really good over the weekend, guys. But, even though they both lost their first game to AFC powerhouses combined, they put up 86 points in week 2. Of those 2 teams, who's more likely to make the NFC Championship game, or will they both be in it again?
Of which 2 teams, I'm sorry?
Would you stop looking at that?
Shh. You just shh.
Carolina and Arizona both lost their openers, close games, to AFC powerhouses. This last week, they both put up combined 86 points, annihilating their opposition.
I watched the Carolina. I watched the Arizona game.
San Francisco.
I watched the Arizona game.
Yes.
And watching what I saw with Arizona, I'll take them.
When you put up 46 points, you're doing pretty darn well. And that's to be expected from a Carolina team.
When you allow nearly 30 and it's San Francisco, that's not good.
Yeah, well, San Francisco was 1-0 with them going into that game.
I'll take the Cards.
You think Cardinals get to the AFC title game before Carolina?
NFC.
Or NFC, sorry, yeah.
I think neither one of them make it to the AFC title.
Really? Why is that?
Because they're in the NFC.
So who are you picking?
I'd say the Cardinals.
All right.
I think Carolina. I think they're just starting off slow.
Cam proved in week 1 that
They're just starting off slow.
He doesn't have it.
Nope, they're just starting off slow.
You don't think he has it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Chalking it up.
I'm not saying they're not going to be a playoff team, but I don't think you'll see him.
Don't compare him to last year.
No, because last year he was better.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, the Browns are in an uphill struggle again.
Call Johnny Football coming to the rescue.
Just looking at this list from 2006 till now, the last 10 seasons. 2006, Charlie Fry, Derek Anderson. 07, Anderson, Charlie Fry.
I remember those guys.
They screwed the pooch on that because Anderson had a good season, and the second he started struggling, the next season they started playing those cute games.
Yes.
That's what happens.
Yep. 2008, they started. Anderson played 9 games. Brady Quinn stepped in for 3. Good old Ken Dorsey played 3, and Bruce Gradkowski played 1 game. 2009, Brady Quinn, Derek Anderson. 2010, Colt McCoy, Jake Delhomme, and Seneca Wallace. That's a name I haven't said in a while. 2011, Colt McCoy, Seneca Wallace. 2012, Brandon Whedon, Thad Lewis. 2013, Jason Campbell, Brandon Whedon, Brian Hoyer. 14, Brian Hoyer, Johnny Manziel, Connor Shaw. 2015, Josh McCown, Johnny Manziel, Austin Davis. This year, of course, RG3, Robert Griffin, and Josh McCown. These guys are hurting. I've never seen a team in any professional sport suck so bad at drafting a positional player than the Cleveland Browns when it comes to quarterbacks.
I say you just draft quarterbacks in every round from this point forward the next 3 years. You got to land one, right?
You can't get it wrong. I mean, seriously, look at all those names I just read off, and then look at all the names that got.
They don't just miss on quarterback though; they miss on running back. The only things they don't miss on are defensive players normally, but that doesn't matter because
they did well with Trent Richardson, but letting him go was
he's out of the league already.
Yeah, he'd still be playing if he was in Cleveland. He would be. He was one of the top 5 NFL fantasy picks for his time.
Right, and he did nothing. No.
And then you ship him to Indy, and then Indy's like, oh, yeah, we're not going to run the ball.
He had like a 1 yard per average carry in Cleveland. That's why they got rid of him.
No way.
He was garbage.
It was poor coaching there. Shouldn't have let that guy go.
Is it bad drafting, or is it that these quarterbacks just don't live up to their
It's both,
hype?
because they spend money to have all these research things done and analysts done and everything else. I mean, they passed on Cam Newton. They passed on Wentz. They passed on Bradford. They passed on Wilson. They passed on some really big names over the several seasons.
Yeah, but we look at it now and say, yeah, those guys are good, and they would be good. But
yes, exactly.
At the time, they might not have been.
When an analyst comes to you and says, do not draft Johnny Manziel, draft quarterback A and Teddy Bridgewater, we've got statistics showing that Bridgewater is a better quarterback coming out of college than Manziel. And they're like, okay, we're going to draft Manziel.
But guess what? Neither one of them are playing now.
Well, Bridgewater's a fluke injury.
By the way, Trent's out of the league because this was his yards per carry average in his 3-year career. You ready?
Who's this?
Trent Richardson from Alabama. 3.6 in Cleveland his first year. Then he was at 3.4 when they traded him. And then at Indy, he finished at a 2.9. And then his last year, he finished with a 3.3. He could never get more than 3.5 yards a carry.
That's okay, though.
Garbage.
On a anemic offensive line for
that's
Cleveland.
not really.
Yeah.
No.
You mean...
No, it's not okay. No, hold on. It's okay if that's a second, third, fourth round running back. It's not okay when you're the third pick in the draft and you're supposed to be the next Adrian Peterson, which is what he was billed as.
Exactly.
That's not okay.
But when your offensive line can't hold
that
guys,
doesn't matter.
You can't run around 4 guys that are running.
Really?
At
Ask
the
Barry
same time.
Sanders that question.
Barry Sanders was a god. This
guy was supposed to be coming out of Alabama. Yes, he was. Evan, help me out here. You're
I agree with you 100%.
Supposed to be, yes, but again, you can't run around 4 guys.
We're not even saying that the guy was picked in the first round. He was picked number 3 overall.
Yeah.
There's no excuses.
Because he wasn't rushing for 100 yards a game, and you're going to wipe his nose
the
right
guys
through
in the first
pile
5,
of crap.
It
wasn't all his fault.
I'm just telling you reality here.
No,
if
hold
you're
on,
in the
Evan,
first
hold on.
10,
It wasn't that he wasn't running 100 yards a game. His career average a game was 44 yards a game.
It doesn't even matter. If
44.
If you're picked in the first 10 guys,
then you should
then there's no
automatically
excuse
be
in
a
front
god
of it.
and rush
There's
for
no
100
excuse.
yards a game. That is
at that
so
point, you're either a
absurd.
bust or you're not. That's just the way it is.
It's so absurd. When you don't have a line that can keep holes open for you to run through, then you can't run through 4 guys. You can't run through 3 guys. You
He
can't.
was your short distance back.
There you go. See?
There. There you go.
And you don't waste the
There you
third
go.
overall pick on a back like that. No one drafts running backs in the first half of the first round unless they think they are going to be legendary.
Right.
Legend.
But when you're the worst team in football,
you
and
don't
you're picking,
draft a running back at 3.
and that,
period.
And that unfortunately put the kibosh on his career because he's better than what his stats show. He got picked by one of the worst
I don't
teams
agree
in the league.
because when he would have went to Indy, he would have got there with Luck, and they thought the reason Indy went for him is because they said we're going to pair him with Luck, and we got these 2 young dudes who came out in 2012, and they're gonna torch everyone. And then
Luck,
he ran into the offensive line and fell down every time he touched the ball.
You remember Luck spiked out too during that tenure when he was there. He was throwing the ball, and that was it.
Yeah,
he didn't have a chance at getting the ball.
He did. When you rush 3.3 yards a carry, that's your.
But
that's
how
all
many
you're
attempts
getting.
did he have? Look at the attempts.
159 attempts.
In how many games?
15 games. 12 started.
Just
so
goes to
he
show
was
you.
barely getting 10 attempts a game. They barely gave him the ball.
Right, because he's only getting 30 yards a game on his
Fine.
attempts.
Look at it that way.
College.
When you're only handing a guy the ball 10 times as opposed to 30, that number's going to move. You give him the ball
Right.
30 times, and he's
And
getting
gonna
closer to 4.5, maybe. But that's still statistically really, really high for the NFL.
That's not true because take his rookie year, 267 rushes,
I'm talking about
950
the years
yards.
that matter, and that was the crap that he got dealt to.
Years
the
that
Colts.
matter. Let me see what Adrian Peterson rushed in his first year. Let's compare.
Yes, let's do that.
It just goes to show you college and NFL are two different
games. I know you can't put God status on a kid that gets
Yes,
drafted
actually, you're wrong.
third overall
the
to
top-
a team that sucks.
If you draft someone in the top 5, they are expected to start immediately.
That's what I just said.
Right, and it doesn't
And that's
happen.
why you pay him that
There
money.
is no this for free rookie year.
No, and that's not what I'm saying. Sometimes they are bust, Jamarcus Russell, and so on and so forth. And then there's just, you got drafted to a team where you just don't have a chance. You just don't have a statistical
That's why
chance
they
to get off
draft
the
you
ground.
to save the team.
Right,
That's
but you're not the whole team. That philosophy's bunk.
Expectation doesn't
It's not
win you.
fair.
And by the way,
it's not fair.
By the way, Cleveland, the one strength they've had is offensive line, including Joe Thomas and the people who have been there in the last couple years.
In the last couple, but
when he was there.
No way. That was a horrible, horrible team. Hell, their quarterbacks showed it too.
Oh, here you go. Rookie year, Adrian Peterson on a garbage team. 238 rushes for 1,341 yards and 12
How many
touchdowns.
rushes? 200 and some? He had 100 more attempts.
No, he didn't.
100
No,
more.
he didn't. The other dude had 282 in his first year, or
You-
252.
You quoted one.
That was his
50s.
in Indy.
Oh, well.
Thank you. I just did rookie year to rookie year.
Nah.
That's a top 3 pick, Adrian Peterson versus a top 3 pick in
AP's
Trent Red.
definitely not a top 3 pick. Definitely not.
Yes, he was.
What?
No, right now he's not.
I was
Definitely
talking
not.
about coming out of
His
college.
rookie year.
Which is why you take a running back
They
that
shouldn't
early.
have drafted him
Should
that
we slow
early.
down?
We shouldn't have drafted him.
Hey, his
that
lifetime
early.
rushing average it's only 5 yards of carry.
Yeah.
That's why he
And
is.
played half
who he
as
is.
many games. It's okay.
Okay, let's just take his first 3 years. And his first 3 years, his yards per
Ask
carry
him.
are 5.6, 4.8, and 4.4 at 1,300 yards, 1,700 yards, and 1,300 yards. 12 touchdowns, 10 touchdowns, 18 touchdowns.
Trent was.
But
a
you
good
keep
kid.
comparing them together.
I'm not comparing him to AP. I'm
have
not
to.
comparing him to God status. It's not fair. He played on a worse team. He played on a worse team.
That doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna have to cancel your sports show because
Sorry,
that doesn't
man.
make any sense on a
Sorry,
sports level.
You can't put him in God status.
Evan, yes,
on a
you
bunk
can.
team.
When you get picked like that, you are. You're either going to be or you're not.
Right.
I don't pick you
And he
pay
wasn't,
you that
fine.
kind of money to think
Interest-
you're going to be mediocre. That's not why I'm getting you.
Interest of fairness, no, he didn't pan out. He sucked. That's fine. Yep, he sucked. He sucked on 2 sucky teams too.
That's
So,
right.
No, actually, 2014, the Colts didn't they go to the AFC Championship game?
Without him,
They did.
he
Was he
wasn't-
hurt?
He wasn't even on the team by then.
Yes, he was. He was still on the team.
Gone.
I'm just looking at the stats.
He was.
You keep
He was
dreaming.
paddling in a canoe somewhere down the Mississippi.
The Mississippi,
Dreaming.
the mighty Mississippi.
Dreaming that I wish I had a Tom Brady Michigan number 10 jersey autographed on my back instead of this crappy ass.
The guy who couldn't even
Colts
start.
jersey.
Guy who couldn't even start in college against Drew Henson. Yeah.
He eventually did, but that's all right.
Yeah.
He won a national championship. That's
By the
okay.
way, the Vikings were garbage when they drafted him too. They were 6-10.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, it's a pretty apples to apples comparison as what you're getting in a top 3
You're talking about
pick.
green apples and red apples, all right? It's not even the same color, all right?
Wow, why are you so racist, yo?
Exactly, I know. Jeez, man.
All apples matter.
In this diet, it does.
Do today what they won't so that tomorrow you can accomplish what they can't, guys. Don't ever forget that. Oh, man, what a day.
Cleveland, call me. I'm available for quarterback.
So's Evan.
And let Jay do your drafting moving forward.
That's true.
For Joe, Jay, and Evan,
I wouldn't draft a running back that early.
This is the Brian Gould Show, Sports Edition on 444 Radio. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. See ya.